Hello and welcome to the Capcom Play Stream Devil May Cry special. This is the SSkills Showdown. My name is Matt Edwards, the Street Writer, and tonight we're bringing you a three-parter. We are starting off with Susie, the SSphereHunter, who is going to be interviewing the dev team, Matt Walker, and Itsuno-san. I'm sure she's going to have lots of awesome questions to ask them. And then we've also got Kyo versus Cosmic. That's going to be the center part of the stream where they're going to play through Mission 11 with Vergil. Kyo is going to be playing the base version of the game with Vergil on PC, and Cosmic is going to be running it in turbo mode with Vergil as well. And then right at the end, we're going to do the final part where the winners get these signed copies of Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition on PlayStation 5. And then the winner of Kyo vs Cosmic also gets this Steamforged Games Bloody Palace board game. But I think it's time that this stream gets a bit more power, so we're going to bring on Matt Walker and Itsuno-san from Japan. How's it going, guys?
Alright, it's time.
How's it in how's it in Osaka at the moment?
It's alright. Osaka, どうですか? 寒いですよね。
寒い。まだ寒いよ。
It's a little cold over here. You know, we're doing our best to avoid the virus. We've been lucky so far, so that's been fantastic. How you doing over there, man?
Yeah, it's still pretty early in the morning here, so it's sort of like 11 a.m. All good. Like a nice ride in London today into the studio. Getting really looking forward to this stream as well. So we've been putting it together for a few months now. We've sort of been getting all the pieces together, but finally we're doing the stream. Proper community stream, and you guys got all your audio equipment as well. This isn't like we did it in the pub all those years and months back where you guys were singing and you didn't have like proper mics. This time we got proper headsets, we can hear you nice and clearly, so I'm really happy.
Right, well, that's all thanks to you, really. Matt Edwards literally sent us all the stuff so that we could get this all set up properly. I think you've done a fantastic job, man. I think you have set up a fantastic stream. It's great that finally, you know, we released the Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition here back in November with PlayStation 5 and Xbox series, right? And here we are, we're finally getting a chance to do a stream. It's really unfortunately because of all of the kind of logistics, right?
Yes.
With the pandemic,
of
where
course.
It's been hard to actually get that set up. Thanks to you, it's finally happening, and it's one hell of a party, isn't it, man?
Oh, I've been looking forward to this, and we've got Visual Platform like helping us out, and we're doing it all remotely from our homes as well. Nobody's having to come into the office or the studio this time. We're covering completely across the globe. We got people in the US, we got people in Europe, and we got you guys in Japan as well. So everyone, you know, it's a full like global get together right now, which is really awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But interviewing you guys, we've got the SSphereHunter, Susie. So we're going to bring her in on the stream now as well. All the way from Las Vegas.
Oh, hello. Hi, everyone.
How's it going, Susie?
How are you guys doing? It's going good. It's a little late for me, but I am hanging in there.
Yeah, what time is it for you right now?
I wouldn't miss this for the world.
What time is it for you right now?
It is at 3:18 a.m.
Oh, wow.
For me.
So that's
massive
rough.
respect.
Itsuno-san says, "I'm so sorry."
It's okay. I wouldn't miss this for the world. So.
But it's completely over to you now, so like you've got your questions lined up.
Oh, yeah.
Away you go with
Okay, cool. So yeah, just basic Q&A. I've been wanting to do for a while now, and we finally get to do it. So my first question for you two beautiful gentlemen is, when you guys sat down and started planning out the development of DMC5, how did you go about it? Did you have game design or story ideas from when you finished DMC4 that you picked up again? Or was everything made from scratch for DMC5?
W5 の発音はどういう感じだったのかな。最初じゃあ、もともとやりたかったけど、以前やりたかったけど、できなかったなんかゲームプレイがあったのか、ストーリーはそういう感じか、いや、全然フルスクラッチでやった。
いや、しばらくデビルメイクライシリーズ作ってなかったんで、なんか生ぬるいアクションゲームが増えてるなーってので、本当のアクションゲームっていうのをそろそろ作ろうよみたいな話をみんなでしてたのが一つと、ストーリーに関してはだいぶ悩んだんですけどね、最後のボスをバージル、やっぱりバージルかなーって言いながら 最後にバージルを勝たせるか、バージルを負けにするかっていうのはすごく悩んで決めましたね。
面白いですね。
はい。
Well, you figure, so Itsuno-san worked on, he worked on DMC4, he worked on Dragon's Dogma, and then he worked on some other stuff in between that. And it had been, about quite a few years, not quite 10 years, but getting there since DMC4. So at that time, Itsuno-san was talking to some of the other dev team members, and they were all kind of saying, yeah, it's been a long time since we've made a Devil May Cry title. And there's been a lot of action games that have come out recently, a lot of action games. Some of them, we feel like, they've kind of lost a certain something that, we had back with Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 3. And so it'd be really fun to kind of pick that up again. And that's kind of where it started. And then from a story perspective, he said, it took us, we were really racking our brains about it. Like, okay, what should we do here? Well, it's been a long time. Vergil should probably be the last boss, right? He should probably be the last boss. But if he is the last boss, okay, well, should he win or should he lose? What should go on there? And it took us a little while, but we finally got it all figured out,
Sure thing. Yeah, it's been a while since Vergil has appeared in anything, like in a corporeal form, not just his presence. And speaking of that guy, with the recently released Vergil DLC, that character has become quite popular. I'm curious, what inspired your interest in exploring Vergil's story originally in Devil May Cry 3?
Oh, that's a good question. デブル5ってね、やっぱりね、その DLC、バージルの DLC が出て、それに、バージルのね、人気のいろいろ出てると思うんですけど、それでそれを見てちょっと思ったんですけど、デブル3のね、バージルのストーリーはどこから来たんですか？どういう発想から作ったんですか？
一作目でね、悪の帝王を倒しちゃってるっていうダンテのに戦うにふさわしいボスっていうのをすんごい考えたんです。でもダンテが恐れるやつでもいないもん。だって悪の帝王を一作目で倒しちゃってるんだ。いないんで、いろいろ考えて、そうか、双子のお兄さんだったら、ダンテが苦戦する恐れるボスとして間違いないよねっていうのがもうスタートですよ。で、本当にそれをやりたかったっていうのと、あとね、最後二人すれ違ってズバーって切るでしょ？
はい。
あのシーンを作りたかったんですよ。悲しい曲を流しながら、戦わなくていい二人がどうして戦わなくちゃダメなんだっていうシーンを作りたくて作った。
That's a great question. And what it starts with, it all begins with the fact that, okay, Itsuno-san and those guys, they made DMC2. Like, all right, at that point, they said, you know what? We want one more chance to make a really fantastic DMC3 game, right? We want to make the best action game we possibly can. And for the story then, they kind of sat there, and this is another thing that really racked their brains with at first, because in DMC1, Dante has already taken down the Emperor of Evil, right? He's already taken down probably the most powerful, evil being that could exist. So he really he thought a lot about it. He's like, well, okay, if that's the case, then who could possibly be powerful enough to give Dante a hard time? And he thought, well, you know what? Well, he's got a twin brother. He's got a twin brother. So it would make a lot of sense then that the twin brother could be somebody that could rival his power. So it started with that. And then the other thing was he had this vision of the two brothers, fighting together. And, in the opening, they have this big fight, right? They have this big fight at the opening of DMC3. And they do that kind of classic Japanese anime thing where they both kind of slash each other as they dart past each other. And he's like, he had that image in his mind. He's like, we have to have this. There's got to be a cutscene. So it kind of started from those two aspects.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, after defeating the King of Hell, who do you go to? Oh, a more focused version of Dante.
Right.
Exactly.
いや、そうですよね。確かにね。やっぱりそうやって 悪の手を倒したら、
うん、
確かにね、やっぱり
もういないでしょ。
いや、いないですよね。だからそうです。じゃあ、断定に指摘するのは、まさにじゃあ、そういうもっとさらに集中できるようなね、さらにね、真髄のあるね、断定しかいないよなと。確かにね。Cool.
When designing Devil May Cry games for their combat, do you make the characters first or the enemies? Depending on the game, certain enemies have to cater to 3 different character movesets.
デビルメイクライのゲームを作るときにアクションはどうやって作るかって、要は、キャラクターのアクションから始めるのか、敵のね、アクションから始める。だって、結局ね、例えばダンテだったら、スタイルが4つあるから、それに対して敵はじゃあどういう動き取るかっていうのもね、計画しないといけないと思うんですし、そのプロセスってどこから始めるんですか？
まずはそうね、プレイヤーキャラクターに関してはね、操作は似てるけど遊びが違うようにっていうふうにいつも考えてるんですよ。ダンテとネロもそうだし、4SE だとトリッシュとレディもそうだし、で、5だとV。全部操作は同じなんだけども、遊びを変えるっていうふうに考えるんだけど、どう変えるかというと、なんですかね、脳みそのね、使う場所を、違う場所を使うようにっていうふうに考えて作ります、プレイヤーは。
Well, let's start with the players. Well, with the players, what it starts with is you figure at this point, you're making sequels to a Devil May Cry game. There's already going to be an established portion. There's going to be moves and gameplay styles that the characters that are already in there, that they already accommodate, that people are used to, right? So he's always started with going, okay, first of all, well, we have this character. Let's put in a new character. Like for instance, we had Dante and then we added Nero, right? When we added Nero, how can we basically make it so that the control itself is essentially the same, right? Because it's the same game. But how can we then add different play to the experience so that ideally the player is using different parts of their brain, depending on whether they're using Dante or Nero. And then, of course, in DMC4 SE, when we added Trish and Lady, and then in DMC5, when we added V. プレイヤーはそういう感じですよね。
そして敵はね、難しいのよ。
でしょ。
一個一個、こんな敵と考えて、まずは出てくる順番に対して、見た目のハったりが大事だよね、とか、超巨大なやつと戦いて、とか、人間サイズで大きいやつと戦いたい、とか、ゴリゴリの剣術同士で戦いたいとか、ね。それぞれ敵ごとに出てくる順番、戦う順番と、その遊びのテーマっていうのを先に決めて、そこからデザイン、設定、考えていく感じ。
And then with the enemies then, it starts with having kind of an idea, a theme for the character, and understanding which order they're going to come out in. Okay, and the theme can be something like, well, I want the character to fight against an enemy that's going to be freaking huge, or I want the character to fight against an enemy that's going to be huge, but just as a humanoid, or depending on like what kind of gameplay you want that enemy to have, and then starting with that theme, then he starts to kind of consider, okay, well, what kind of actions should that enemy actually use then in the gameplay? じゃあそうすると、要は同時に並行で作ることが多いかなと思うんですけど、割とどっちかというとちょっとキャラクターが先にキャラクターちょっと始めてからそれで敵もね並行で作るようなイメージかなと思います。
そうだ、基本的にはだから遊びの種類を揃えて、で、見た目のインパクトを揃えて、で、5だと、リバイバルキャラっていうのも出そうって決めてたんで、それもバランスよく入れて、順番考えてっていうのは、結構ね、同時に考えることが多いですよ。
そうですよね。
同時じゃないとね、
でしょうね。
作ってダメだったっていうわけにいかないんで。
そうですよね。And finally, then, to kind of actually answer your question directly, it ends up being a thing where we end up kind of doing it in parallel. You know, we might start a little bit with the characters, but then inevitably we'll figure out, okay, what's the theme going to be for these enemies? You know, okay, what's their kind of what are they going to look like? You know, what kind of impact, what kind of visual impact are they going to portray? And then we kind of have to design them in parallel so that we don't get into a situation where maybe we've designed one side too much where the other side then can't accommodate. Because if we get into a situation like that, then, you know, we could get to a point where, say, we have to kind of throw away certain things, or we have to kind of start over in a certain sense. And, you know, I think you guys can probably imagine that can wreak havoc on the schedule. So. He's always been really good about being protective of the schedule.
Well, with that said, have you ever had to drastically adjust a character who was too over or underpowered for some of those existing enemies to make them more fun? Like specifically?
まあ既存、まあそういうやつじゃ並行で結局まあ敵はもう作っちゃったけど、その結果キャラクターがやっぱり強すぎるとか弱すぎるから、それでちょっと調整し直さないといけないっていう場合はあるんですか？
最後までだし、
ですよね。
今回だとバージルと今までバージルじゃない敵が戦ってたやつとかは、最後まで結構調整しましたよね。強さの調整とか。
It's a fantastic question, and yeah, I mean, frankly, it's a constant balance. Something that that's constantly happening as we're developing the games, and of course, you know, we certainly had that with Special Edition here, where you know we designed the whole game without Vergil in, including all of the enemies, and so then having to go back and add Vergil and make sure that you know he played to an extent, you know, the way that people know him, you know, DMC3 and DMC4, but also adding him in a way that he's going to be fun, but yeah, not be too overpowered or too underpowered. It was a constant struggle.
I can imagine that could be quite like difficult to accomplish because he is like this like big boss character, and it's like if you want to play as that character, it's going to be like he should feel super powerful, but finding that balance is like super important at the same time.
Oh yeah, まあそうバージルこそはね、本当はね強いはずですし、
そうだね。
いや強いはずなのにね、なんかもうまあ逆にあまりね、まあちょっと弱く感じるでしょうし、ただまあ
バージルはだいぶ強くしてるから、まあみんなちょっと簡単すぎたかも今回ね。
今回ね。4SE もそう。
4SE も強くしたのよ。ね、新キャラはね、強くしないとね。新キャラはね、やっぱ強くするんですよ。
これはね、いつの知恵ですよ。
新キャラは強くします。
You know, yeah, and Vergil, Itsuno was just saying, and frankly, you know, Vergil's pretty strong, and we made him pretty strong this time. You guys probably might even that to an extent. And I said, yeah, you know, that was the case with 4SE too. He says, yeah, you know, he says, I got a secret for you. When you make a new character, you want them to be strong, and you want them to be strong so that people will enjoy playing it.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, if you want people to focus on like the new character, it's like gotta hook them right away. Moving on to some of the more personal elements of character design. What's the process? What's the process for designing Dante's weapons like? How do you go from a longsword to a guitar to a motorcycle? It's got to be really difficult coming up with movesets for totally unconventional weapons.
まあじゃあ、まあ、ダンテの武器に、じゃあどうやってデザインするか知りたい。まあ結局まあ体験も、ね、リベリーも持ってて、結局まあ次はぶっ飛んだ考えで、まあ、ギターで攻撃する。まあキャブリエルみたいなね、モーターサイクルで攻撃する。そうやってなんかぶっ飛んだ発想でデザインしながら、まあ、ちゃんと楽しい遊びを作る。大変そうです。
めちゃくちゃ大変。毎回すんげえ大変。持ってるだけでかっこいいものをまずは探すのが大変。
ね、そうですよね。
で、世界中のまあ若い人たちが憧れる持っててかっこいいものを探すとこから始める。
そうですよね。
まあ、オートバイもそうでしょ。
そうですよね。
ギターもね。だから僕らが子供の時に見てて、かっこいいなと思ってたやつを順番に使うようにしてる。もうどうするこのハットとか。まずそれを、で、しかもそれを使って、ちゃんと面白くなるように考えるのがすんげえ大変。毎回大変。
でしょうね。
次のこと考えるのも嫌だっていうぐらい。
でしょうね。Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And the process for that starts out with Itsuno-san. His theme for Dante's weapons has always been that they should be ideally be objects that that young kids find to be cool, you know? And so you figure that's where the guitar comes from. You know, basically young kids think guitars are cool, right? And the same went for motorcycle. Especially, he says, yeah, you know, when I was a kid, like these were the things I thought was cool, especially like a motorcycle or something. And then, yeah, you have to again think about, okay, how do we actually design this in a way that players are going to fight with it? And he says it's something that we constantly, you know, we rack our brains over completely, and every time it gets to be so hard that we're like, you know what, we're done. We don't want to do this anymore. But we managed to do it again, you know. And this time, yeah, like for instance, we had Cavalier and we had the hat. We had the Faust hat. Like, how do you fight with the hat that looks like that?
Yeah, exactly. Like I could see like guitar and motorcycle, like especially a motorcycle that splits apart, but like the second the hat was announced, I was like what? Like how is this possible? Like what are you gonna
いや
do?
確かにね。まあ、キャブリエレといえば、まあ、とりあえず、まあ、キャブリエレ、ね、二刀流という発想で、まあ、それで、まあ、攻撃するのは、まあ、なんとかね、イメージはつくんですけど、いや、ファウストハットはね、そうですよね。あれは本当に、じゃあ、これでどうやって攻撃するとつくかと、すごい思うんですよね。
そうね。あれよくゲームになったね。
いや、
本当に。
いや、あれ楽しいんですよね。だって、そうやってね、まあ、俺もね、デザインしてる時にね、そうやってレッドオーブを使って、そういうね、リスクリボワードがすごい楽しいな。
じゃあ、お金で勝てるんだって、お金さえ出しちゃ勝てるよっていう遊びとくっつけたからね、ゲームになったんで、
でも、貴重なレッドオーブなの。じゃあ、本当使うのとね、迷わせるのが欲しいな。That's fantastic. You know, you're right. And the hat in particular, you know, that was something I remember when we were coming up with those ideas. And I loved their idea that, well, you're going to use your red orbs. You know, you're going to use your red orbs because it's going to be this fantastic risk reward thing where, you know, you're as a player, I know as a player, what I hoard stuff. I really hoard. Like, so for instance, whenever I play like a Final Fantasy game, I always have like tons of elixirs at the end. I never use elixirs because I keep them. And for the hat, his idea that, yeah, well, you're going to use the red orbs and you can keep them. You can keep those red orbs. You're going to be able to use them to buy all these cool moves. But, you know, if you want to spend those red orbs, spend your own hard-earned cash, essentially, then that'll be like one easy way to take stuff out if you really want it. But it really makes the player think, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's definitely very refreshing, especially for a Devil May Cry game, because it's like, as you said, like once you unlock like all the skills and stuff like that, and maybe like max out your item like inventory or whatever, it's like I just have all these red orbs laying around doing nothing. So it's like you've essentially like added ammo to a Devil May Cry weapon, which is super cool in my opinion. And it's like, oh hey.
あとね、やっぱりね、爽快感ですよね。要はまあ特にね、すごいやり込む結局じゃスキルとか全部解除して、そうするとたまるんですよね。だからじゃあファーストハットでね、そのレッドオーブを使えるのもすごいな。
ね、そうそう、余ったお金をどう使うかっていうのもね、デビルメイクライ5は一つ課題だったんですよね。余っちゃうから。
そうですよね。最初から考えて。
そう。
Yeah, and you hit on a really great thing there. It turns out that, you know, for making this game, that was one of the things that the game designers really wanted to address from the beginning of the game was, you know, they understood that, frankly, this is what happens. You know, if you're good at Devil May Cry, you end up, you know, unlocking everything, and then you have all this money. You know, you have all these red orbs. What do you want to do with it? And so, yeah, the Faust hat was one way they chose to address it.
I absolutely love it. Speaking of different weapons and character archetypes, was it always a goal of yours to make V play so differently from anything we had ever seen in DMC before? Was that a major priority with 5?
まあ次じゃあV のデザインについて聞きたいんですけど、まあ V は結局ね、本当に今までね、 デブルメイクライでそういうゲームプレイはね、あったないんでしょうね。
そうですね。
それ、意図的に、最初から意図的に、V は絶対に完全に違うゲームプレイにしたいと思ったのか。
そうですね。
やっぱりそうですよね。
一番最初にデビルメイクライ5作ろうってちゃんと決まった時に、もう3人目のキャラクターはそういう風に戦う。要するに攻撃、守るべき本体と攻撃すべき物体っていうのは別々に動かそうっていうのは最初から決めてました。
なるほど。
はい。
はい。Yeah, absolutely. You're totally right. And with V very specifically, right at the beginning of development, Itsuno-san's thought was, I want to have a character, I want to add a new character. And I want this character to play in a way where you have to basically have two separate beings. You want to have the portion that's going to attack and the portion that you're going to want to protect. And they should be separate. And he thought that he'd be able to come up with some really interesting gameplay by implementing.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, when I first played the game, it was like it definitely was like a hurdle to get over at first because, like you said, it's like you're like the brain of the character and the weapon of the character are always together. And with V, it's like they could be across the room, they could be right next to each other, they could be, at any varying distance. And it was super cool, like trying to figure out like cool like setups for like combos with the different familiars and stuff like that while keeping V like safe across the room. It actually creates like a lot of really cool play styles. Like you can be like super up close, like with, different attacks, or you could be like very far away and slay that way. So I thought that was super awesome.
いや初めてその時も思ったんですよね。すごい面白い発想だなって。それで結局距離の遊びがさらにね、なんていうの、ディープになって
そうね、違うんだよね。ネロと男女違う。
そうですよね。
だからアイデアは、最初からあったんだけど、これをちゃんと面白く遊びに、ゲームにするのが、すごい大変だから、担当者がもうめちゃめちゃ苦労して、
本当にね。
ギリギリまでできなかったね。
いや、V こそはそうですよね。割と発売の1年前まではね。
ギリギリ、だから、例のね、マイクロソフトの偉いさんにお見せした日にできてて、面白いってなって、GO だったんでね。
本当にね。
ギリギリまでかかった、ね。
本当にギリギリ。Yeah, it was really V. It took us a long time to finally get that balance right, to really get that gameplay to be something that was going to be a lot of fun. To the point where, you guys may remember that Microsoft was kind enough to help us announce the game, put us on stage at E3 to announce DMC5. And so pretty late in the cycle, we were showing them builds of the game. And for a while, internally, we had people like, look, V, I don't know about V, but one of the last times before we sealed the deal, where we decided we were going to announce at E3, we brought a build to Microsoft, and we could see it right there and then that okay, this worked. V's gameplay is a lot of fun. Everybody's having a lot.
Yeah, that has to be like such a nerve-wracking experience because he's so different just from the traditional like action game archetype for like any game. So
right. Oh no doubt, no doubt.
I'm curious to know how the sound design and gameplay teams work together on DMC music. For example, a song like Devil Trigger is the recurring theme of 5. It evolves and gets remixed as the player progresses. Does the sound team watch cutscenes or gameplay to develop these tracks, or is it all a clear vision from day one?
サウンドと企画は、例えばじゃあ曲、特に曲ね、についてどういうやり取りするかは知りたいなと思って、例えば、デビルトリガーってね、やっぱりね、デビル5ではね、すごい使われるし、でやっぱり、ゲーム、進行する、進行してる間に、いろんなリミックスとかを出したりするんですよね。そうすると、そのリミックスとかでどういう雰囲気を出すかっていうのは考えないといけないだろうなと思う。サウンドチームはじゃあそうやって、作曲してるときに、どうですかね、なんかゲームプレイの映像を見ながら作ってる。そうでもない。
デビルメイクライに関してはもうシリーズもね、続いてるし、あと、今回その映像最終到達点、どんな感じの映像のゲームにする、まあ今見たらもうね、完成品だからわかるけど、デビル4からどんだけ変えるの全部、最初の頃にちゃんと打ち合わせして、こんな絵になります。こんな絵に合わせる音楽でお願いしますっていうのと、サウンド側から今回こんな新しいことしたいんだっていう話と、で、新しいキャラってどんなキャラなのっていう話も全部最初にすごい時間取って話して、で、その新しい技術とサウンドのやりたかった新しいチャレンジ、今回出したかった映像とかキャラクターが綺麗に合わさってるんで、今回も特に大成功しましたもんね。
本当にね、本当に素晴らしかった。That's a really interesting question, and it starts out at the very beginning, where Itsuno-san gets all the leads together, and he's been doing this for a while now. He's been doing this for years, all his different projects. Right at the beginning of the project, he gets all of his leads together, and they go on a retreat. Usually, it's at there's this little facility that Capcom has. The devs here, we can actually like stay at this place, and it's like it's what we call a yokai in Japan. It's not quite a hotel. It's something a little more personal. And he gets everybody together, and they all share their ideas of, okay, what is the game going to look and feel like, and they establish that at the very beginning. And in doing that, they all get on the same page. So this is before anything's really made, but they all get on the same page about, okay, this is what it should feel like. This is what it should be like. And for DMC5 in particular, the sound team said, look, we want to try some new stuff. We have some ideas. We think we could be really cool. Especially in terms of, for instance, the idea that they had where the songs, then the battle themes would progress in relation to how you were doing the style, right? And so we really lucked out because all of those ideas really coalesced, I think, fantastically in terms of, both the way that the sound worked out, the way those new sound systems worked out, and including the look and the feel of the game as well.
特にね、
Yeah.
今回ボーカル入りっていうのはね、
そうですよね。
大チャレンジだったんだけど、
本当にね、
よかったと思う。
そうですよね。Especially, and one of the big things too was having the vocals in the tracks the way they are. And
サウンドチームが素晴らしい、今回。
Oh man, the sound guys, they really knocked it out with introducing these battle themes that have these fantastic vocals that, very catchy tunes, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's basically flawless when you're playing. It's just like and once you know like the song and how it like reacts to your ranking in battle, it's like the definition of hype when you like can set things up at like the perfect moment and then hear like Bury the Light come in or whatever. Like it's so much fun.
完
Awesome.
璧ですよね。で、結局そのね、どういうシステム、音楽のシステムについてちゃんと理解できたら、本当にスリリングですよね。本当に盛り上がるんですよね。
今回すごい良かったね。
本当によかった。
Devil May Cry has always been a very violent and serious video game series, but it also has a lot of humor and wholesomeness. What's the key to successfully balancing those two things out in the storytelling?
デビルってね、ストーリー的にね、割とすごいね、真剣な要素もあれば、真面目な要素もあれば、すごいシリアスなね、本当シーンとかもね、あったりするんです。あれば、やっぱりユーモアもね、ちゃんと混ざってますし、なんていう、やっぱり良心的なキャラクターも結構いるんですよね。
そう
ね、どうやってそのバランスを取る
の？もともとね、デビルメイクライの最初のシリーズを作った、神谷くんの、好きな世界観ともあるんだけど、基本的にはね、ハリウッド映画ですよ。アメリカのね。で、ユーモアもあって、真剣さもあって、っていうね、かっこいいノリ。ちょっと古めのハリウッド映画ね。めちゃめちゃかっこつけすぎないハリウッド映画のノリがね、多分みんな好きで、それをちゃんと理解して、 そういうシナリオ担当も、僕もそうだし、みんながすごいちゃんと理解して、この世界好きで守って、作ってるのはあると思いますよ。うん。いいですよね。はい。年寄りも若い人も楽しめるかなと思ってます。
Well, it really, and this kind of goes for Capcom games just in general, but it kind of starts with the idea that, frankly, these guys, including Kamiya-san, back when he was making DMC1, they were very heavily inspired by kind of Hollywood films, and Hollywood films, like the kind of Hollywood films that maybe were popular a little while ago. Maybe not as maybe not something as recent as like the 2000s. But there are these kind of films that at least for old guys like us growing up that we saw, and they had that kind of balance, in those kind of different elements. And we always kind of see these films, and there's something about them that we really like, and we tend to integrate that into that kind of knowledge into our stories. The idea that, well, the right amount of, like I said, the seriousness, the right amount of kind of wholesomeness, humor. If you can mix that all together right, then yeah, you can kind of make something that kind of feels good for everybody. And so that's really what we try to do, kind of where we start from.
That's a good way to describe it, I think. It's just like Devil May Cry games are like feel-good games because it's like when they get heavy, they get really heavy and you like really feel for it, like the characters and stuff like that and like the situations they're in. But like when it becomes like fun, it's like the most fun you're ever gonna have, So
確かに気持ちいいんですよね。気持ちいいんですよね。そういう、要はもちろんそういうシリアスな場面も、結局、ゲームプレイとかも楽しいんですし、ちょっと落ち込んでも、それでまたね、楽しめるんですよね。Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no problem. To get into that more, to dive a little bit deeper into the story, what made you guys want to focus on the theme of legacy for DMC5's story? Every main character has baggage from their past, more specifically parental baggage. Dante and Vergil with Sparta, Nero with Vergil, Nico with Agnes, Lady with Arkham, and even Trish with Mundus.
デビル5で割とね、ストーリー的にレガシーが重要かなと思うんですよね。特に両親に対してね、ダンテ、バージルはスパーダ、ネロはバージルで、トゥリシティはね、ムンデスに対してもね、
そうね。
関係があってね、問題解決してるかなと思う。そのテーマにどうやって至ったんですか？
デビルメイクライはね、もう1も2も3も全部そうなんだけど、これどっかのインタビューでも言ってるんだけど、共通したテーマはもう愛なのよ。
はい。
愛なんですね。それはいろんな愛があるんだけど、親子、もうちょっと兄弟もそうだし、ね、当然一緒にいるパートナーに対しての愛もそうだし、ね、先輩とかね、お兄さんとかもいろんな愛、今回もあらゆるもんを全部入れ込んじゃえっていう、だって自分自身に対してのね、憎しみと愛情あったでしょ？ V とかね。
そうですね。
だから、これはね、もう、毎回そうです。愛おしい気持ちっていうのを大切に、いつもストーリーを作っています。はい。
Well, that really comes from, Itsuno-san was saying this is something we've talked about, but the kind of theme that Itsuno-san has always kind of included throughout the series has been love. And that can be love too. He says this is kind of embarrassing, but that could be love for parents, obviously, like you're talking about. Be love for your brother, in the case of can it be love for yourself? And Itsuno-san brings up like V, for instance, right? V's got this internal conflict, right, where it's very much he loves himself, he misses himself to a certain extent, he kind of loves himself to a certain extent, right? But yeah, it all kind of goes back to the idea that ultimately the underlying theme should be love throughout the whole series.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I never really thought of it like that. It was always just sort of like, I always thought of it as like legacy, like everyone's trying to live up to their what came before them. But I think love is like definitely a prevalent like theme throughout the entire series, and like just trying to like hold on to whoever you have left, you know. And I guess that does make a lot of sense when you think about Nero and like DMC5, for instance, like towards the end of the game. It's just
That's a
like
good point.
it's just like this like adopted like punk kid who's never had a family, and he's just like he's gonna fight tooth and nail to keep it, you know.
That's a really great connection there. いや、確かにね、もともとは、見たら、割とレガシーが一番重要なのかなと思ったんですけど、おっしゃったら確かにね、じゃあレガシーじゃなくて愛かと。で、特に、じゃあ、最後、W5 の最後にね、要は、ネロが、やっぱり愛情で、要は、ダンテとバージルを失いたくないんですよね。
もうね。もう大事な人を失いたくないんですよ。
ね。そうそう。Yeah, that's cool. That's a really great connection. He was going.
固まった。
How are we doing on the stream here?
Hello, can you guys hear me? All right, looks like we've had a slight technical issue with Susie at the moment. We're going to try and bring her back in. I believe she still has one question left to go, so we will wait a sec. But maybe I can interject. Have we still got Itsuno-san and Matt Walker? Can we go back to that scene quickly?
Yep.
Yeah, so I believe Susie's still got a question left to go, so I'll wait. We'll try and get back in. But I did have one question that I wanted to ask Itsuno-san. Being as we're on Capcom Fighters, I'm going to try and fit rival schools in here somewhere. So All right. So I just have one question I want to ask Itsuno-san. So how did you feel about Akira being added to Street Fighter? And what was the conversation like when Nakayama-san and Matsumoto-san first talked to you about her inclusion?
じゃあ、スージーさんと接続し直したらちょっと聞きたいんですけど、じゃあ、ジャスティス学園ですよね。そうね。いや、スト5にアキラ登場じゃないですか。その話って、中山さんって感じでやった。
いや、中山くん、ジャスティス学園めちゃくちゃ好きだから、どうしても出したいっつって、出してもいいですか、
中山さんがやってたんですね。
そう。
いいです。Well, Matt, to your question, Nakayama-san is actually the one that approached Itsuno-san.
Oh, okay.
He's like, look, I love rival school. Can I do this? And Itsuno-san was like, yeah, of course.
Awesome. And I'm like, are you going to be playing her when she joins Street Fighter 5?
どうですかじゃあ、スト5でアキラやっと。
いや、遊びますよ。
Of course!
Awesome. It's great to finally have the best biker in gaming in Street Fighter. Finally, we've done it.
ゲームのね、一番かっこいいバイカーがまたね、戻ってくるんです。
Okay.
そうだね。あんまりいないもんね。
That's true. Yeah, she's definitely one of a very select few bikers in gaming. All right, Susie's back.
She's indeed.
Sorry about that, guys. I guess my internet had a little bit of a problem, but I'm back.
All right.
Did you ask my final question?
No, I did not.
Edward?
I definitely did not.
Okay,
thank you. Good to go.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, guys. My final question for Itsuno-san is, which of Dante's various costume designs is your favorite?
じゃあ最後の質問。ダンテの一番。
そうだね。好きというかね、一番かっこいいのはね、2だと思うんだよね。
へぇ、2。なるほどね。
2だけね、コートとちょっと違うのよ、形が。
はい、そうですよね。
ベストと、スカートみたいなのが一緒になった形で、 あれは多分、一番かっこいいし、普通の人が来たら一番かっこ悪いと思うんだよ。
ああ、なるほどね。
ダンテがあのスタイルで着ないとかっこよくないんで、2の衣装が多分一番かっこいいかなと思います。
Well, look, I think, I don't know whether it's my favorite or not, but the one I think looks the coolest is the one from DMC2. And you probably remember that, yeah, the coat, the style of that coat in that game, the time that it's been like that. And he says it's this kind of style where, frankly, it would only ever look good on him, right? Any normal person would try to pull that off. It would not, right? Because it's not.
Yeah, DMC2's Dante design is just fantastic. I personally think like all the character designs are great in that game, but yeah, Dante, perfect.
キャラデザインみんなね、あれ、池野さんでしたっけ？
そうですよ。
Oh, that wasね. Well, it turns out just so you know, the designer, the character designer on DMC2, this guy named Daigo Ikeno. If you guys have played Street Fighter, Street Fighter fans probably Ikeno-san. He also worked on DMC5, and he did designs. Actually, a lot of like kind of some of his early concepts are things that we put like in books and like showed in presentations. まあ雪野さんのね、いろんなデザインも公開しましたよね、デビル5の。例えば例えば
そうね。2っぽかったね。
確かにね。He's like, yeah, some of those designs they were kind of similar to what he made for Dante DMC2.
Yeah. Daigo Ikeno is a legend without a doubt. I love the parallel between Lady from Devil May Cry and Makoto from Street Fighter. Like there's a visual parallel which is very much appreciated, I think.
で、ゆとMakoto結構ね、キャラデザイン的に似てる部分ですよね。大好きだ。
Can I ask one more question? Is that okay? Edwards?
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay, for Itsuro-san, 一番好きなバイオは何ですか？
一番好きな
バイオ
ハザード。
バイオは。
ああ、なるほどね。僕ね、本当実はね、ラストエスケープなのね、3。
ああ、なぜ？
やっぱり追跡者がね、めっちゃ怖かったのよ。で、物語もコンパクトでしょ。で、実は面白くてギュッて面白かったのは3で、世界観が好きなのは実はね、コードベロニカなんだよね。ちょっと怪しい。
You know, the question was, for anybody that doesn't speak Japanese, the question was, Itsuno-san, what's your favorite Resident Evil game? And he says, honestly, my favorite one is probably RE3 Last Escape. There's something about, first of all, the Nemesis, that having the Nemesis just constantly like that was something that was just terrifying back then. And there's something great about the story being kind of as compact as. But in terms of setting, he says, I think my favorite was probably Code Veronica. There was just all kinds of crazy shit going on. So
yeah, for sure.
Interesting setting.
Well, Biohazard Last Escape, RE3 Nemesis. It's my second favorite. So
which one's your favorite then?
The Resident Evil 1 remake on GameCube. Cool. That one's my favorite.
なるほどね。
2番目好きなのはマジ
すごいね。
リメイクですね、GameCube。
それはもうその通りかもしれない。
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes plenty of sense.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But anyway, that's all the questions I have for you guys today. I really appreciate you guys sitting down with me and having a conversation about game design. It's honestly like a dream come true for me. Like my job is to make like these super long videos on YouTube about game design and like in like Devil May Cry and like Resident Evil and stuff like that. So this has been an absolute just treat for me. So thank you guys so much.
The pleasure was all ours, and we were telling you this beforehand. Just so everybody knows, frankly, this whole stream came about. The original reason that we decided to do this was a couple months ago. It was probably right around when we had announced DMC5 SE. Susie had DM'd me and she's like, "Hey, it'd be really cool to kind of like do maybe something where we could do maybe like a commentary or something like that." And so right after that, Edward started talking to us about, okay, when can we start actually doing some streams for DMC5 SE? And I said, look, Susie reached out. Let's see what we can get going here. So it's really thanks to you that this is all happening to begin with. And the other thing I wanted to say was, Susie actually shared these questions with us beforehand, and both Itsuno-san and I looked at this, and we thought these questions were great. Itsuno-san specifically said, these questions are so good, we could literally like spend hours just talking about questions. Obviously, it's slightly abbreviated. You did a great job.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I will say big shout outs to my friend Charlie over on the Gaming Brit Show YouTube channel. He's also like a huge Devil May Cry fan. We actually workshopped the questions together, and like I think we came up with some pretty interesting ones on the design front of Devil May Cry for sure. But yeah, thank you so much for loving the questions. It's great.
どういたしまして。こちらこそありがとう。
All right.
Yeah, those were awesome questions. I had no idea that like Devil May Cry had a secret power of love theme. That was news to me. Walker, you still there?
Oh man, does that mean that we can end this on you singing "The Power of Love"?
This was my question for you. This was my question for you. Who does?
Can you set that up?
Who does the better Power of Love, Huey Lewis or Frankie Goes to Hollywood? Question for Walker.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood's version. Actually, when did Frankie Goes to Hollywood do a version of the?
It's like the Christmas version. It's based on like the Nativity.
I don't think I've heard that one. I think I've only ever heard the Huey Lewis one.
So by default, the fact you've not heard it, okay, Huey Lewis is your favorite.
I guess that means that for the next stream, then I'm gonna have to see the Huey Lewis one, the Frankie Goes to Hollywood one. That's how this is going to go, right?
All right, there's a bet then. If you do karaoke for the Frankie Goes to Hollywood one, I'll do the Huey Lewis one.
Oh, we're going to flip it. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I guess that's what we're doing then.
All right, okay, but that is the end of part 1 of the Devil May Cry community stream. Thank you very much to Susie, TheSphereHunter, for bringing those awesome questions.
Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to take.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's awesome. It was awesome.
Appreciate
Like the level of insight that kind of like helped get out of Walker and Itsuno. Like I feel I understand a bit more about the DMC universe now. So that was awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Cool. We're going to take a 5-minute break now, and then we'll be back with Kyo versus Cosmic for the SSkills Showdown. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the SSkills Showdown. We just had Susie TheSphereHunter asking some awesome questions to Itsuno-san and Matt Walker, but now it's time for Kyo versus Cosmic. So let's bring those guys in. Kyo versus Cosmic. So Kyo based in France and Cosmic is based in Delaware in the US. And they're going to be facing off in Devil May Cry 5. Kyo's going to be playing the base version of the game with Vergil, and Cosmic is going to be playing Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition in turbo mode, and they're both going to be doing Mission 11. But yeah, introducing Kyo and Cosmic. How's it going, guys?
Well, first of all, good morning everyone. It's nice to be here yet again. And thank you for the invitation. Should I introduce myself quickly or?
No, yeah, go for it. Yeah, we've got plenty of time.
Okay, so my name is Kyo from France indeed. I'm a combo maker, also specialized in Vergil. I'm also the host of a talk show series named Talking About the Devil. And I'm ready to kick ass.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. And then over to Cosmic as well. How's it going, man? And introduce yourself.
Hey, well, the sun is just coming up over here on the East Coast, so that's nice. I get to play in the sunlight. That's good. My name is DE Cosmic, and I am a speedrunner for the Devil May Cry series and other action games, but primarily the Devil May Cry series, mostly for DMC1 and DMC5. And I speedrun the entire series over on Twitch, and I'm ready to take it to Cavalier Angelo, man.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And then Walker and Itsuno, have you got anything you want to ask these guys before we introduce the prizes?
All right, man. I'm just looking forward to this, and we have both versions of Vergil gameplay here presented, with both the PC TMC5 with the Vergil DLC.
Yep.
And then DMC5 SE on PS5, playing as Vergil in turbo, no less.
Yeah.
Man, Cosmic, what made you decide to play in turbo?
Would it be too cliche of me to say it's faster?
You're right. It is faster. It is faster. So was it because you wanted to be efficient at the time, or are you a masochist, or are you just used to the speed of turbo mode at this point?
At this point, since I've been playing DMC5 SE since launch, all of my muscle memory is on turbo mode, so I just decided to go with where the muscle memory was at rather than just try and relearn for like a slower pace. Even though at a slower pace at the normal vanilla speed, I can just take my time a little bit more easy, maybe see attacks a little bit telegraphed a little bit easier.
Right.
But
I'm impressed you managed to get hold of a PlayStation 5 as well. They're in short supply at the moment.
I think that's the real miracle, is that I was able to snipe one of those right at launch, and then they were like, "Yeah, this is gonna arrive right on launch day," and I was like, "Oh, okay,
nice.
Sure, excellent."
Yeah, I got one on launch for obviously Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition and Demon's Souls, so I've been rinsing both those on my PS5. But we have prizes, so whoever wins this gets the Devil May Cry The Bloody Palace board game. So this is by Steamforged Games, really popular, man. We did a Kickstarter for this and did really well. And then you also get all the extra stuff as well. So we have the Walking Arsenal expansion. That's got Cavalier Angelo, a lady in it, and then we also have Devil Trigger expansion, so that has got Nightmare, Devil Trigger Trish, Sin Devil Trigger Dante, and Devil Trigger Nero. You can see all the cool figures at the back there. So each one of these expansions comes with a different set of figures.
Nice.
Cavalier Angelo, which we'll be seeing shortly, hopefully finished off quite quickly, and the final one we've got is the Alpha and the Omega expansion. So this is Urizen and Vergil. So if one of you wins that and you happen to be into painting miniatures, then this would be a cool one to put together. But yeah, and I believe Matt Walker has also got some prizes as well to add to the prize pool. So what have you got, Matt?
I think compared to what you brought here, it's just a bunch of tchotchkes. I mean, we're sitting here, we're jealous at all the cool stuff that you have over expansion packs and stuff. But what I found in my kind of box of stuff is, first this is a phone strap that was given away for people that got a chance to play the Devil May Cry Chinese mobile game.
Oh, wow.
Pinnacle of Combat.
Great.
Limited
We
edition.
have That's right, man. And we have 5 of the Capcom Cafe trading clips. 5 different trading clips. I have no idea what's what, so I have no idea like which one would be in here. There are 10 in all. There's that. Have a V replica ring.
Oh wow.
And I think I have to check. This might actually be a prototype, so somebody might be getting a prototype ring. We'll see.
The prototype makes it rarer. That's even better.
Exactly. I might be in big trouble for doing that, but yeah. And then we have a copy of, this is Japanese, but a copy of Visions of V Volume 3 manga here. And then finally, my favorite, a set of the Capcom Cafe Devil May Cry air fresheners. Dante, Nero, and V, all to either hang up, say, in your car or in your bed.
Did you have to like smell test them to get them through licensing? Because I know you have to do licensing stuff as well. Which is the best one?
あれ、監修しましたっけ?
しましたよ。
しましたっけ? Yeah, we did actually. We honestly did. We honestly did. And yeah, we tried to be specific about. これあれか。香水と同じやつ。Well, it turns out that these were made from the colognes.
Oh wow!
We had colognes that we made at the Capcom Cafe that were actually a huge hit, and a lot of people want to get their hands on them, but they're to export. So these are actually one way to smell the even if you can't get your hands on the cologne. And yeah, Dante or Itsuno-san was very specific about bringing the cologne to different people on the team and saying, okay, what do you think? Does this smell like that? What should this smell like? And we got a lot of help, a lot of great help from especially the female members of the dev team, which there were quite a few that were very good about kind of explaining to us, those of us that have maybe don't have the most cultured noses, explaining to us, well, no, this should smell like this. And
right.
This doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. What was the most popular one? Just a quick question there. What out of all of the fragrances?
監修した時に誰が一番人気だったか覚えてる？
これね、僕そんな香水とかあんま得意じゃないんで、チームの中でそういうのが得意な人、平木さんとかね。
あ、平木さんもね。
平木さん好きだからそういうの買ったりとか、あとね、チームのね、女の子たちが好きなネロってこんな匂いするんだよとか、バージルってこんな匂いがしたらかっこいいのにっていうやつを監修してるんで、それは自信作、すごくいい感じ。そうですよね。
I mean, frankly, we like them all, but it was a ton of fun. Basically, having all these different members of the team.
Awesome.
Kind of explain to us how it should smell.
Sounds good. Well, that's the part of the prize package that whoever wins the SSkills Showdown is going to get as their prize. But I think we're just about ready to start with the first runner. So if I remember correctly, we're having Cosmic going up first. So we're going to see the game being played on PlayStation 5 in turbo mode. So actually, before we start, Kyo and Cosmic, how much training have you been putting into this? Because you've known for about a week now what level you're going to be running. So what's the training regime been like? Have you put much time, or are you just winging it on the day?
Well, to be honest, there's work at the day too. So of course, I had time to train, but the biggest challenge was to get back muscle memory from playing the non-turbo version, because that's what I will be running. So this is actually more difficult than it sounds. Aside from that, it's just getting my fingers, heated up. Just working on some muscle memory to be able to pull some stuff that I do in combos in real time, which is not necessarily as easy as it sounds.
Okay.
So that's it.
Same question to Cosmic then.
I actually consulted a few of the no damage runners, because this whole scoring system is kind of out of my realm of knowledge, because it's not really something that I mostly engaged with it passively in speedruns, but I talked to a few of the no damage and score points runners and watched a few of their videos just to kind of see how things are sort of changed up, because now I get to really explore the character a little bit more, because obviously when I do the speedruns for the character, We're just using like a few moves that are the most effective throughout the run. So now we have to kind of mix it up and understand, like, you know, when to build meter a little bit more, when to kind of hold the style rank a little bit more, the easiest way to go for no damage, stuff like that.
Okay. Because I imagine if either of you gets a no damage run, then that's going to, like, the big multiplier you get for that could, like, just be an instant win unless you both get it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and then we're not doing this on time. We are doing it by the total stylish points. I think the metric is you get at the end. So you get at the end of the level, it's the results screen come up. It's not the rank, it's the total stylish points that we are basing this on. If you both manage to get exactly the same score, I've got no plan of action for that at all. So I'm hoping we get a clear winner. But I did speak to you both about this beforehand, but we're going to go with Son of Sparda difficulty rather than Dante Must Die, just so that we finish this today, because in Dante Must Die they have so much health it would take ages to get through the level. So we're for this first run of like a 6 skills showdown, we're going to go with Son of Sparda, and you're both going to be playing Vergil. But if Cosmic is ready to go, then let's get the game screen up, and away we go.
I am indeed.
Correct.
All right.
Good luck, Cosmic.
Yes.
Thank you, Kyo.
All right, here we go.
All right.
See how he does.
なるほど。
多分時間かかるから。
Right.
3をさね。
Running at the start. Hasn't gone for the full health either. Very confident. I like it.
Oh, he's speed running it.
Literally, yeah. He's already thinking no damage, so what do I need health for?
Interesting. So yeah, Cosmic's biggest trait is the way he's able to optimize his run. So optimizing stuff is like part of being a speedrunner, and an efficient speedrunner at that, and Cosmic is very good at this. So this is what the challenge will be. So this is going to be his ability to not to get hit. So this is more an all or nothing way of doing this challenge.
Do you reckon he's just going to, rather than trying to like do the best way to get the star meter up quickly, do you think he'll just go for a tactics that means he won't get hit?
More likely, I mean, he won't take risks. Like, of course, he knows how to get style fast, and
Yes.
and Mirage Edge, sorry, like habits die hard. But Mirage Edge is an effective weapon with ultimate, so you can get easy style punch with that.
Wow, that was max triple S pretty quickly there.
Look at that.
Yeah, and he made the right choice using Judgment Cut Hand on Fury, because Fury is pretty much the demon that would negate your no damage run.
Okay.
Fury ね、それ。
Is this using a camera trick there, looking at the wall or something? Or?
なんだっけ。ジャッジメントカット。
はいはい。
あれを使ったのはやっぱり。
Is he going to go for the optional
Yeah,
encounters?
そうそうそう。フューリーはね、
そうね。
攻撃されるとこまで。ね
Ooh, quick.
Kill just with the fantastic analysis here, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm trying. Well, we
Ooh,
could
first
just see that. Okay. Okay, I've got a chance, man. But yeah, this strategy was also not to get maybe trolled a bit. Oh, 2 hit then. Not to get trolled by stuff like chaos type enemies.
You can just
Antenna Ray can be a bit troll on the counters too. Alright, nice moves, nice moves.
If I was doing this, my entire strategy would be judgment cut spam in the air and just hope I don't get hit. That'd be it.
Yeah, I remind. Oh, okay, I've got a question just in case. What happens if Cosmic dies before the end of a mission?
Then he's automatically disqualified. This is Son of Sparda. Nobody's allowed to die.
Oh yeah, great. That's great. That's effective.
Nice, yeah.
That's very effective.
うん。
Which one's that? Is that the Proto Angelo? I forget its name.
Yeah, Protangelo is the Nelo type one.
Yes. Like with a ton of health.
Oh yeah, it's pretty tanky,
Ooh,
but
okay.
probably not as behemoth. Okay, yeah.
Oh, なるほど。すごい。
He hasn't got time to lose. Okay, so nobody's can be a bit tricky, no pun intended. So it's all about try to get in the air, because the ground is how you will get hit most likely.
Is it like a like a leaderboard anywhere that has like a world record with like the highest score on this mission? I mean, it's more about speedrunning, isn't it? So I guess I don't know if anyone's like set something like that up to like see what's the most amount of points they can get in a level like this. It probably doesn't exist. I was just wondering.
I think Cosmic holds the record on some DMC5 runs. So yeah, this is definitely playing a part. Okay, so it's already on Cavalier, so let's see what his strategy
め
is.
ちゃめちゃ速いわ。
Oh, we're into the boss fight now.
Alright, let's see.
And just to get everyone on one, we're not going to show the score at the end so that we can save it but reveal at the same time. So as soon as we see that bullet effect, we're going to come back to the player cams and you won't see the gameplay. So we're going to have it as a surprise and reveal it at the same time.
Okay, so he's definitely given up on the no damage and he's playing more roughly. And he knows most of the parry timings. So yeah, he knows how to get stuff done. Yeah, absolutely. There's one move that's also effective, but he's not just.
Ooh,
so
okay.
We'll see about this.
We get to see all three of the devil trigger moves.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Well, because Myroja's one Deep Stinger is having a lot of moves. It's also efficient to get stipends more easily. It gets more stipend, I believe, than Hell on Earth or Judgment Count End.
Okay. So Itsuno and Walker, well, what are your impressions so far in this gameplay?
あ、そうなの。
Man, this is amazing. どうですかね、なんか開発のとこんなに早くね、
いやいや、
ミッション11をクリアすることあります？
ないよ。びっくりだわ。しかもこれあれさ、ほぼスパーだな。
Yeah.
We're just sitting here amazed, beat this, in development if you haven't beat the stage this quick. It's like, of course not,
Always slowed it down.
It's insane.
Oh yeah.
It's with Son of Sparta, no less.
Chasing tactic, huh? Uh-oh. There we go.
And we're switching back to the players now. Switching back. Nice.
All right.
Okay, so we are not going to. We're saving the score to show it at the end once we've seen everyone's run. But we're going to bring Cosmic back in now. Yep. Cosmic, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, cool. How do you think that went?
I wasn't too happy with it, but I did most of the stuff that I wanted to. Like I killed the Fury with Judgment Cut End, and I did. I wanted to go for the no damage, but I don't know, man. That Judecca just came out of nowhere and just like sideswiped me.
Yeah.
He gave me he just like
using that dowsing tech with those stretchy limbs. It just catches you, didn't it?
Yeah, I jumped to the side, and then I guess he had already queued it up, so it just kind of was like, okay, there you are. But yeah, no, I think it went all right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Kyo, what were like overall assessment of that? Like having seen that, how confident are you now with your strategy?
Okay, so well, first of all, I'm going to do every optional fight very soon, so this is going to take a bit longer. So I'm going to take much more risks too. But I mean, as I said, Cosmic knows how to get stipends easily because being a speedrunner is all about being optimizing your plays. It's not necessarily going to be easy, but given the amount of damage he's taken, I think I can get something off.
Okay, so you're going to go for every optional encounter? You're not going to try and go for the quickest route and try and get no damage?
Nope.
No
easy road.
How easy is this level on this difficulty to do a no damage run? In both of your opinions.
Cosmic, you go first.
I think it's relatively, like, I would say it's about middle of the road because there's a couple of enemies like on this level that can really mess you up. Like there's at least one in every fight that will really give you a run for your money. On the first fight, it's obviously the Fury. The second fight, the Judecca, and then the Proto with how tanky it is, as well as the Nobody. I would say Cavalier Angelo might be out of like the threats that you would expect. I would say Cavalier Angelo is probably the least threatening because of how easy he is to parry. But I would definitely say like the Nobody can just kind of come out of nowhere and just lunge at you. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'd say it's about middle of the road.
And Kyo, do you pretty much agree with that assessment, or anything else you want to add?
It's pretty much this. As I said, there's some X factors. So this is going to be Judecca that I need to take care of, and Fury should be easy to Judgment Cut End. So I need to get ready about when it appears. But Cavalier Angelo has more or less two IA patterns.
Okay.
There's one I like more, and if I get it, I mean, I will be more confident, but there's like way less.
Okay.
I noticed that when training. But other than that, well, yeah, I do agree.
Cool. And then a question for Itsuno-san and Walker. Any advice you'd give these guys? Like I give Kyo right now before he starts his run. Any advice? You designed this game.
ノーダメージだったらもう絶対勝ちだもんね。
ね、ノーダメージだったらね。
そうそう。まあだから、まあノーダメージだったら勝ちなんだけども、まあダメージ受けたとしてもっていうとこだよ。もうそれしかわかんないわ、難しい。
He's like, well, look, really, the best thing I can say is, I really hope he can get no damage, you know, because then, yeah, then he's all set. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think about his strategy of going for every encounter? Do you think that's wise?
It's not wise, at least. I know.
So if that's a question for Walker and Itsuno-san. What do you think about his strategy of going for every encounter?
できるだけやっぱりまあ例えばじゃあ攻撃されたらね、敵できるだけ全敵戦った方がいいんですよね。まあ彼の
いやスタイリッシュポイントでしょ。そうか平均点が高くなったらいいんで。
Yeah, because if you think about it, the way that the stylish points are calculated is at the end it comes down to average, right? So theoretically, then, yeah, if you're going after every single encounter, then you're giving yourself a chance to raise that average by fighting more.
Okay. My concern is, like, I know in the first crumbling building area, at the bottom there's an optional area with a bunch of nobodies in it, where I think you get like a blue orb fragment if you do it. That, like, it's quite like a compact area and with nobodies. Like if you manage to get through that with no damage, I'll be impressed. Because like
I have to say that actually that's only for the blue or fragment. But since I already have it, it's going to be red orb and pusa instead.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Okay, interesting insight there. You guys play this all the time. You got that inside knowledge. But we are ready now, so let's flip over to Kyo's gameplay and let's start this run.
Okay, so let's say Matt. Let's say you pick the costume.
All right, which one are we gonna go with?
I'm going classic. Definitely classic. Matt Walker, yeah, you pick.
No, that's good. No, you good. Classic it is, baby. I can dig.
Okay.
So you did mean X Colors classic, right?
Yeah, that's the DMC free one, basically, isn't it? All right, let's go. Let's go.
Right.
Mills in the chat saying the old Matt switcheroo. Yep, I keep falling for that.
The old Matt switcheroo. There it is. We've been doing that for a couple of years now.
Yeah, we have.
There we go. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Okay. Yeah, so this character specifically in sort of freestyle settings like this, he's extremely good in like the void in these controlled environments. So Kyo being able to flex a lot of the more like freestyle aspects of the characters, I think, a bit of a change of pace for him.
Okay.
Which is
it's been hit already.
Definitely making. Oh, let's go.
Oh man. Oh, okay. All right, this is gonna come down to a real fight right here.
We got ourselves a match.
Hey.
Yeah.
Final round. 5 golden levers,
Exactly.
So he definitely is making better use of the like summon swords and the doppel than I do. It's definitely like two aspects of the character that I don't really focus on as much.
Okay.
They're just not efficient, and I guess his finger's a little bit better than mine. So definitely choosing to take he held the SS there pretty well. So he's going to be able to, like they said earlier, he's going to be able to try and hold that average a little bit well. So he's going to have more opportunities to hold the average a little bit longer. Also, fun fact, you can kill, I actually remember, you can kill that blood clot there with, it depends on how many, how high your concentration level is.
Right.
You can kill it with 1 judgment cut at highest level concentration. That's just, useless trivia, but yeah.
That's good to know, man.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. That's why I use Beowulf on it, because otherwise, at 0 concentration, you have to use 3 judgment cuts.
Okay.
This fight here specifically, Kyo actually has a bit of an advantage on me over here because he doesn't actually have to stagger his damage a lot I came into this fight with basically no Devil Trigger, so
Right, I see.
had to build it all up on the enemies there and then go for the Fury, but he didn't really have to temper anything. So he could just get a high style really quickly and then just go for it. So that cleans up a lot better there.
What's the numbers going to be? Are we going to...
Oh, I got a triple 6 over there.
You always manage that!
6, 6, 6, 1.
Man, you can't even script this stuff.
No, I can.
He's going to go for
He is.
this right here. Very nice.
And there is so much going on.
That died a lot quicker than I thought it was going to.
そうやってじゃあ平均でやろう。
Devil never cry in the trance saying this man is haunted by the 666. Very true.
要するにやらなくていいことをやんないとダメだっていうのはまた外そうと思って。
So yeah, one of my playstyle is also holding Devil Trigger all the time.
あんま評判が良くなかった。
Oh,
レッドオーブを稼
I
ぎな
liked
さい
it。though. It was cheeky. It was cute.
レッドオーブはスタイリッシュが長かったら稼げるんですが。
how important, like Cosmic, how important is
とにかく
finishing this level
本当にスタイリッシュな
quickly, do you reckon? Like in terms of the score?
戦い方。
Like if he lingers for too long and goes for every match, is that going to have a negative
なかな
impact?
か難しくて。
I think you should still be able to clear the speed clear S type thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I don't actually know the exact numbers on the speed clear ranks, to be honest with you. Because I always just blow through it as quickly as possible, so I'm always just getting it
No, of
naturally.
course.
So.
I was just asking Itsuno-san, well, what made you decide to make it so that the scoring would be based on the average then? And he said, well, there was kind of two things there, and we don't necessarily know that we made the right decision or not, but
Right.
one being that, you know, we wanted to try and make it the gameplay in a way where we weren't making people do stuff they shouldn't have to do.
Okay.
And then the other thing being that, well, with any luck, this would be the way that would get people, that would be facilitate the most stylish gameplay.
Yeah.
But we're not really sure. Like that was our thinking when we designed it. But yeah, we're not entirely sure whether that ended up being the correct answer.
Oh,
That's
we're
what we were doing.
going for the air taunts there. I remember that one. We're on the S. Can he get it up to double? Taking his time a little bit. Going for the kicks.
Oh, I thought he was going to go for the shoulder.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Alright.
actually attempted.
I think this is going to be pretty damn close, to be honest.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. It's a nail biter, man.
If he only gets hit at the start and doesn't get hit for the rest, that's kind of like... It's typical, isn't it?
That's pretty typical, yeah.
Oh, good dodge. Oh, I love when Cosmic got to this point and he brought them all in with the Yamato slash and then the time freeze. That was sick.
That's one of my favorite parts of this character. There's a bunch of setups that I have, and I think that they're only really useful at higher difficulties like this, where you can really just kind of bring all the enemies together, just kind of shred them up.
Yeah.
On human, they die really fast, so it's pretty neat. But the utility on Void Slash, just such a great addition to Vergil's kit. Ooh, that was a really far away parry.
These cancels. Oh, he's going for the slash. Interrupted him. Splatted. Judgment Cup. Here come the nobodies. Making them go slow. Bringing out the double ganger. Woo! Alright, nice evade.
That was close.
That was close. Playing with his food. Man, I hate these guys. Full on in rage mode as well.
Yeah. Ooh,
Nice.
very nice. Very cool. And now for the run back with Cavalier Angelo.
Less time to get my revenge.
Yeah, explain what happened there, because I keep hearing people. Did you do something similar recently and got hit by Cavalier Angelo or something?
More like 2 years ago.
Okay. Ah, right, I get you. I remember now. I have a terrible memory, but now that you say it, yep, I do remember.
Alright.
2 years ago. Man, I barely remember anything that happened 2 years ago.
Oh, I thought he was about to go to the shop. I was like, is does he know something I don't? What's going on here, man? What's the tech? Oh, he's gonna slow walk to it. Okay, I see you. I dig it. I dig it.
Nice dodge! Oh, I like it.
Ooh,
This is the best boss fight in the game, in my opinion. I love this boss fight.
Oh yeah, this is definitely.
Oh, it's taking a slight
You got
sliver.
a tag there. Yeah,
Slight
that was
sliver.
that was something.
Ooh, okay.
Ah!
Don't let him do it to you! Ah, nice.
Really use it, like really good use of the trick cancels here also from Vergil, just to try and move around the map.
Yeah, this is pretty much a showcase of all the stuff I can't do in the game.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
Ah! What?
Oh, we're back up to S. Don't get here. Ooh.
That was a misinput. I don't know what.
Oh,
I
my.
won.
No, the dream's dying. Come on. It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
There we go. Very nice.
Yeah,
really using the parries there on Cavalier Angelo in order to grind some points off of him.
Need to get that back up to the S. Good teleport. We're in there. Stagger him.
Oh, into the world.
Oh, we've gone to World of V.
like-
I didn't expect to see that.
すごい。
It's holding the style pretty well, so
見せ技
I
じゃ
can
ん。
definitely see it. But he is going to sacrifice his concentration gauge for
Yes.
it, so we'll see how that affects what he's able
Showing
to
off here.
pull off here. I actually had a strat for this boss if I had gotten no damage up to this point, where I was just going to nuke him with 4 Hell on Earths and then just bank on the no damage bonus.
I would have loved to have seen that.
Unfortunately, the dream died at the end
Yeah.
of the Deco, but
Man, I would never be able to no damage this. Okay, get in and out of there. Be like water.
really good. Yes.
Yeah, nice evade. I'm wondering if you're still going to get the S speed or not, because this is definitely a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm not really. Yeah.
Oh,
No!
Ooh.
Oh no!
Oh no.
めっちゃ減るな。
I just finished him now.
Choosing to try and hold a little bit more style here.
this is something I just.
Oh, you got him! Just finish it!
Oh no!
No!
Oh! Is he gonna end it? He's gonna end it the right way. Okay, fair enough.
Judgment cut in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He's got to build the concentration though. Something that I did like about Vergil in this game compared to 4 is that you get rewarded for being active in terms of the concentration, whereas he built it very, very quickly by standing still in 4.
Okay.
好きやね。
You get
Is this gonna
a
kill
lot
him?
more for. Yeah, I think it might be.
稼い
Yeah.
の。
This is definitely
he's living.
not my best run.
Oh, and we're off the gameplay now. We're off the gameplay.
Okay, I could have done much better.
It was going very, very well until Cavalier Angelo.
Yeah, for some reason it didn't do trick down when I exactly wanted, so there was maybe something off, but that's the game. I'm
Okay.
complaining.
Okay.
That is the game.
Well, I mean, in terms, where did it fall apart? Do you reckon, for you?
Well, yeah, it's just getting trick down properly. It's not an easy input to get consistently because it's back to forward, so you gotta make sure you're in the right direction. But however, I'm looking at my screen and I got a higher score in my training.
Oh wow, okay, this is good. This is good because like you did really well to that point. And like we Walker and Itsuno-san was saying, it's based on the average. It's based on the average. So there's still a chance that even though maybe the boss wasn't as good as you wanted it to be, that how well you did beforehand may have like made up for it. So I am curious to see how this has gone down. The results are ready. Results are ready. Okay, so shall we do it? Are we ready to see? Everyone, are we ready to see what the scores are? Drum roll.
Here we go.
Let's see what the scores are. Oh, that's close, but Cosmic wins.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Good shit, dude.
Congratulations to Cosmic for
my
taking the
God.
first Sick Skills
す
Showdown.
ごいね。そんなショットなんだね。
That was almost a tie.
Congratulations, man.
That's amazing.
Dude,
So
good
there was
shit,
only what
Keo.
was it, like 62 points or something in it? I can't remember the exact numbers.
Yeah.
there.
62, yeah.
Yeah,
something like that.
62 points. That's all the difference, man.
おー、すげえすげえ。
My
Yeah.
God.
I think it was Cosmic's
Well done. Both you guys.
performance against Cavalier Angelo at the end. That's the one that sealed it, I think, because that was rapid and you barely took any damage.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
Congratulations, you win the board game. So we'll be posting. I have to pay more for postage now. I'm not sending this to France, and now I have to send it to the US. So I've got to like pay more. Yeah. But you've
My
won
bad.
the Bloody Palace board game. I'm assuming you don't have it already, Cosmic.
I do not know.
Okay, cool.
That'd be a nice addition to my board game
And then you
collection.
get all the expansions as well, and you'll get to potentially paint Cavalier Angelo if you want. So
うん
there you go.
That's
And then everything that Matt and
that is
Itsuno
high.
bought as well.
We don't even have any copies of that over here.
I've got.
持ってないですね。
うん
I can send you one. I think we've got about. We've got a few left. Let's just say we've got a few left at the Capcom
Right.
Europe offices. But
Cool.
yeah, well, that was really exciting. I'm glad it went down to the wire. It was so close. So we could definitely potentially do more stuff like this again in the future. I think because this is quite exciting. I enjoyed that.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome indeed. Like there was a lot of players that would put a very very good show. So I hope they're really getting the chance to play here too.
It was close enough for like one day have a rematch. I think 62
Oh, yeah.
points isn't enough to it's not like it wasn't a complete like sweep. Definitely not. Definitely not.
That's what you want to see, man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely what you want to see.
100%. So Walker and Itsuno, what did you think of that gameplay?
どうでした？
いや、この短い時間でこんな盛り上がるんやったら、次作るときはこういう短い時間でやるタイムアタックモードをつけた方がいいかもね。
いいな。
すげえ面白かった。
Oh, it's amazing. It was amazing. So I'm saying that, frankly, it was such a good time. It was such a good time to, in such a short span of time, that it seems like it would even make sense, like maybe down the road to when making another DMC game, to add some kind of mode that really like amplifies them. It was amazing.
No, 100%. I think like if ever this was something that you thought about, including in like a development way, then I would love to see it. That would definitely be awesome. That would definitely be awesome. Okay, but that is all we've got time for in terms of part 2. So we're going to say goodbye to Keo and Cosmic now. So we can go back to that scene. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. What's the time where it is? What's the time in Delaware and France right now?
It's nearly 8 a.m. here.
Wow, you've definitely been burning the midnight oil.
Hey man,
me,
it's like Susie said, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. So.
Well, I've always enjoyed your the stuff you do for like Games Done Quick, and you're like the speedrunner guy for DMC, and I love the fact you always have the Run DMC T-shirt on as well. That's
man.
Look at that, Run DMC. That's so sick.
Nice.
Yeah,
Run
that's a hell of a cool card. And Keo, thank you very much for joining us as well. But that's all we got time for part 2. But we'll be back in 5 minutes for part 3. We'll be announcing the competition winners for all the competitions we've been running on Twitter this week. So we still got one thing left to go before we end the stream. But thank you very much, guys, and you'll be back in 5 minutes' time. Hello and welcome back to the SSkills Showdown. We just saw Kyo versus Cosmic facing off in Devil May Cry 5 with Vergil, and Cosmic took it home for the USA, so congratulations to Cosmic. But now we're at the final part of the stream. We are going to run the competitions. So this week on Capcom Fighters Twitter, we've been asking 3 questions. And we've been asking people to send answers, and the best answers are going to be reviewed now by Walker and Itsuno. And we have 3 signed copies, the Japanese version of Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition on PS5 to give away to the winners. So we're going to bring back Matt and Itsuno now. How's it going, guys?
All right.
What's the time in Japan right now? How late is it for you?
It is 9:55 p.m.
Okay. So it's getting late for you. Hopefully we'll still be able to finish in time so you can still catch the last train home. Hopefully.
Yeah, luckily I can just walk home. But Itsuno-san's last train maybe around 11 something.
Okay, cool.
ね、多分ね、Itsuno-sanの終電も多分11台だろうな。
そうですね、11時25分
ですよ
かな。
ね。そうですね。それまでに終わるようにしないとな。Go.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go over the competitions now. So if we can get the first graphic up for the first question that we asked. Okay. So look at the answers for this one. This question was. I'm just bringing it up on my computer to make sure I get the right one. This was yes. Devil May Cry 5 has a motorcycle weapon in Cavalier. What form would your devil arm take? So these are all. We had about, I think, over 300 submissions for this question, but I've shortlisted them to these 10. So Matt, if you and Itsuno want to read these and pick a winner.
All right, we're gonna read these. Well, I'm gonna have to move for a second here. Right, move the computer closer to me so I can read it.
I sent you an email with them as well, so if you brought that up, that would be the same.
Yeah.
どういう基準で選ぶ？
ね、どうしましょうかね? Well, first of all, let's think about this. So, what would make the most sense in terms of what is it we're looking for with this? Like, what would we want to pick the best one based on? You know, what are your thoughts on that, man?
I just think the most kind of creative and the one that would kind of fit into Devil May Cry the best, potentially, I think. The most creative one. There's some interesting options. Do you want me to read them out? I can read them out if you want.
Yeah, about that. How about you read them?
I will.
And then we'll kind of comment on each of them.
Cool. Okay. So the one we've had from Devil's Never Cry cosplay. So swimming my whole life, it would have to be something water-related, like Jetstream Tonfas. Spin them to create water barriers, pull off some slick melee combos, then hold the button down for a stream of water, blasting enemies after each hit, slicing through them in the final hit. So that's the first one.
トンファのやつでしたよね。
トンファね、ジェットストリームトンファでしょ。
そうですね、ジェットストリーム。
ジェットストリームトンファが何を言ってたかちょっと分からなくて。
要はジェットストリーム。
水流を出すトンファ
そうですね。そういう感じですね。そうですね。ね。トンファってデブリに出したことないでしょうね。
候補にはね上がるんだけどまだ使ってない。
ね、そうですよね。Yeah, it's interesting. I was just saying we never had any tonfas in any Devil May Cry game. I was saying, yeah, it's something we've considered before.
Okay.
Yeah, we never made it all the way to the point where we've had tonfas in. Right?
Okay. And the next one from, what is this? Akira Haicho. Definitely a saxophone. Imagine vanquishing demons with careless whispers, playing a banger and saving the world. So that's...
サックスフォンはね、今まで考えたことあるんですよ。
出てるサックスは出てるけど、ボツにしてんだよね。
そうですよね。
ケアレスウィスパーって言ってるのがね、結構おっさんかな、これ言ってるの。
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed this. We thought about the saxophone makes sense for a game, and we've been able to make it work. But he says, yeah, give it up with the idea for careless whispers. Makes us wonder if the person that is suggesting this maybe older like us. Bring up Careless Whisper.
Okay, and the next one is My Devil Arm would be a Capcom versus SNK 2 disc. And if you hit with it, the only thing you'll hear is, "This is true love we're making" on loop.
This is true love we're making. ね、
久しぶりに聞いたよ、この。
一応聞きましたね、
そう聞いた。あ、この曲のことかと思って。
そう。あ、すぐ分からなかったの。ちなみにね。
だってタイトルとかってゲームができてからつけるんだもん。
あ、はい。
そう。サントラ作るときにつける曲名だから、とか、要するに開発最後の方でつけるんで、ディレクターはあんま知らないことが。
歌詞はでもね、This is true love making って
そう
いう感じですよね。Man, obviously, the most important. This is true love making. He says, "Yeah, I went and listened to that first time. I thought, what? You didn't just? That's not something that just came to your mind instantly, like me." Oh no, when we make these songs, at least back then, especially, it was like we didn't really come up with the names of the songs until like it was something we'd come up with for the soundtrack. So
okay.
Up until that point, there wasn't a name for the song. So I actually remember which one it was.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. Like a bit of a history there for Capcom vs SNK 2, which is a sick game as well. I love the groove system in that game.
Yeah.
Actually, going back to the Careless Whispers one quickly as well. If that was a weapon, it would have to be Siva's cover of Careless Whisper, because that is definitely more Devil May Cry. It'd have to be Siva's cover. Okay. And then moving on to the next question. Give me a lawnmower or one of those big-ass harvesters.
芝刈り機ですね。
はいね。
確かにね。それはね、考えたことないですよ。
それあれだもんね。デッドライジングで使ったね。
ああ、確かに。Yeah. Well, we haven't seen any lawnmowers in DMC, but we have seen lawnmowers in Dead Rising, haven't we, Matt?
Yes. Now that you mention it, that is definitely it's more of a Dead Rising kind of weapon. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called in that. It's like the something roller. There's one you can make. It's like a steamroller with like almost like a barbed wire in it or something like that. It had a particular name in that game, but like that's definitely more of a Dead Rising kind of weapon. But speaking of like crossover suggestions, now we're going on to more of a Mega Man one. So the next entry was the Y Saber. So beam saber that activates from the gauntlet attached to the hand. In Swordmaster, the weapon can slash with 2 sword beams. Dante mimics Zero's "Hee-ha! Ha!" from X4 and then says, "It's not over yet" when low on health as an Easter egg. So what do you think of that one?
オマージュしたね、ナイトセーバーですよね。
ぽいし、あれっぽいよね。ストライダー飛竜っぽいもんね。
ああ、確かにね。Oh man, yeah. I mean, obviously, Zero from Mega Man X is great. Also, that also seems like something Strider would do too, right? It's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Right?
With the gram, like shing, shing.
Right, yeah.
Okay, and the next one, wind element yo-yo that can split in half for double the fun, or remain one piece for all the yo-yo tricks and or rope dart use, like Jackie Chan did with the horseshoe rope in Shanghai Noon.
ヨーヨーね。
ヨーヨーね。俺スターグラディエイターの時使ったよ。
あ、そうでしたっけ？
そう。サターンっていうね。
サターンね。I completely forgot about this, but Itsuno-san had a character that fought with Yo-Yo way back in Stargladdy.
Yes, I do remember that. It wasn't Prince, was it?
Saturn.
What was the Saturn? Okay, Saturn. Yes. Now you mention it, I do remember. One of the earliest Capcom 3D fighting games.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and the next one. Personally, think a really cool devil arm would be a deck of cards, but each style makes you use a different suit, giving the weapon different effects and moves based on your equipped style.
トランプですね。
あ、トランプね。
トランプね。
トランプは割とリアルに、
そう、俺もね。
今回候補に上がってた。
ああ、やっぱり。
で、だからギャンビットは使ってるでしょ？
Kinetic card. Did you say Gambit?
そう。でも割とリアルにありそうなのがトランプ。
そうです。Yeah, I was thinking, well, it turns out that, I mean, first of all the ideas, this deck of cards thing is probably the thing that's the closest to like this would actually be a Dante weapon. And
Okay.
in fact, it's something that we've considered before. Because you think about, you know, Gambit, for instance, right? Yeah, you were mentioning the kinetic cards. Like, Gambit kind of fought with cards in that way, right? By throwing the kinetic cards. Right? So yeah, that's definitely something that I think fits really well with the universe.
I mean, like, I remember X-Men versus Street Fighter, and then Gambit's super move, like Royal Flush, and then we just like throw the cards.
超かっこいいよね。
I could 100% see Dante doing that.
Oh yeah, totally, man.
ギャンビットがいなかったらもしかしたら今回使ってたかもしれない。
He says, you know, maybe if Gambit never existed, we may very well have actually like put that concept into the game.
Marvel beat you to the punch, unfortunately, on that one then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and moving on to the next one, a giant bottle of hot sauce, and Dante gives the demons pizza covered in it, and they burst into flames.
Hot sauce ですね。
あ、これね。ホットソースで一緒何かと思ってからね。ホットチリソースみたいなやつね。
そう。いやこれね、割となんかファイナルファンタジー出てきそうな感じじゃないですか。みたいな。
あのね、割と真剣に言うと使ってかっこいいかどうかなんだよ。
ね。そうですね。
でビューってね。ソース
ちょっと微妙かも。
そうね。いいんだけどね。
You know, the first thing I thought of when I saw that was that this feels more like a Final Fantasy summon. You know, the idea of having like a giant pizza that you know doused in the sauce and then they burst into flames. But yeah, maybe fighting with hot sauce may not be like the coolest thing Dante could do.
Okay. If my submission would have been a can of Monster, that would have been it. So you pop it and you automatically win. Instant quadruple S.
そうね。
いきなりSSS.
これいいかもね。タイアップでいいかもね。
There you go. Yeah, maybe that's something we should talk to the master guy. Good collaboration.
Potential collab there. Okay, and then moving back to the questions. So we've still got 2 more to go for this one. A giant baseball bat that also creates blazing baseballs to shoot at my enemies. After hitting an enemy, it comes back to you, and if you time your swing perfectly, it's going to deal way more damage, but the ball will also be faster, so timing to hit that swing would be much harder. I think this one sounds a bit like a God's Hand weapon.
バットですね。
それもね、候補に上がってないわけじゃないんだけど、もうコンボの最後に今やってね、もうね、ホームラン。
はい、そうですね。
やってるんで、あんまり採用はしてなかったのね。
なるほど。まあこの中で一番なんかゲームプレイ的になんかシステム的には考えてるなと思うんですよね。
そうね。
このわけでね。
これみんなね割と真剣に考えてくれてるからね。
ね、そうですよね。Yeah, Itsuno-san says, you know, we've kind of thought about bats to a certain extent. You figure Dante has a move, right? At the end of the combo, he does do the home run swing.
He does.
And so, kind of based on, we've never really gone with the idea of, well, let's have a separate bat weapon.
Okay. And then the final submission, if we're going back to the questions, the final submission is, my devil arm would take the form of a controller, and you'd be able to control and fight demons with other demons. So like some sort of possession weapon.
本当にコントローラーなの？
まあそうですね。はい、そういうふうに。
ダンテがコントローラーを使うの。これいいか悪いかって言ったらかっこよくはないが。
そうですよね。
まあ適応なまあ面白いと思うんですよね。
まあ俺 V がね。
まあね。
This was interesting. You know, I mean, again, maybe Dante holding the controller in the game wouldn't be the coolest looking thing, right? But the idea of like being able to like kind of possess a demon is pretty cool, right? And I think to an extent that's kind of been done with V, right?
Yeah, I'd agree.
I think you could probably argue that there's kind of a deeper thing you could do with possession.
Okay. Plus, I think Dante, he's more likely to have an arcade stick. He's an arcade stick guy. I don't think he'd use a controller. If he's going to possess enemies, he'd be 6 buttons.
そっちの方がかっこいいね。
That makes sense. It's a good point.
Okay, so that was the 10 submissions for the first question. Now you guys have got to pick a winner. Which one did you like the most out of all of them?
その重厚の中で一番
好きなのがね。
まあ一番リアルなのはねトランプでしたよ。
トランプね、そうなのよ。だから本当に候補に上がってたのは、割とリアルに候補に上がってたのは、サックスフォンとトランプなんで。でもね、まあ、これギャンビットがいるしね。
ね、そうです
でも
ね。
本当にね、真剣に考えてくれてたのが、ジェットストリームトンファーの人と、ロックマンゼロっぽいそのソード、
ね、そうですよね。そうですよね。
ガントレットソード。
確かに。
この2つはね、割とね、真剣に考えてくれて、どっちかかなっていうね、
ね、いや、いい、そうですよね。You know, going back and forth about it a little bit, we were talking about how really, again, the two that you know, we've pretty much we actually have considered before. Two that really make the most sense from a setting point is the cards, the deck of cards, and the saxophone. But you know, again, the saxophone we've never really been able to find a cool way to do, and then deck of cards again. Gambit's already a character exists, right? So Itsuno-san says, really, then I think the two that have put the kind of most thought into them then become the Tonfas and the Zero, the Mega Man Zero light bleed thingy.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably down to those two.
Okay.
どっちでも。じゃあ、またね、
俺が
最後、その2つまでは。
He says, look, I put it down to those two. No, you gotta make this.
He's narrowed it down even further. One of you's got to pick one.
You know what? I did think the Tonfas were pretty cool this morning when I was, you were kind enough to put these together for me, and so I translated them in Japanese for equals on. Yeah, I thought the Tonfas were a really cool idea, especially with the jet stream. The idea that
I like that
because the idea also being, again, this was another one that actually had this nice gameplay concept in it where you attack with the Tonfas, but then so if at the end of the combo, if you hold the button, then you can get this extra jet stream that comes out and pops the enemy backwards and stuff like that, right? So it slices the enemy. So I did think that was really cool. So yeah, let's go with the Tonfas.
Okay, so if we can bring back the question screen a set so I can remember who it is who's won. Okay, so that was don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's like Venteraqua Devils Never Cry cosplay. So congratulations, you have won the first signed copy of Devil May Cry Special Edition. So I will contact you later on Twitter to get your address so we can post that one off to you. But we still have 2 questions left to go. And I think the next one's going to be a lot quicker because it's a lot shorter answers. So if we can get the answers up for the quadruple S questions. This question was, if we added an SSSS rank to Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, what should it stand for? So these are the submissions we've got. So the first one is Super Smoking Sexy Supercalifragilistic Expialidocious. The Mary Poppins.
日本語でスーパーキャラフラジラスティックエクスピアルドして終わります？
わかんない。何なの
これ昔のディズニーの映画ですよ。で使ってるんですよ。
メリーポピンズ。
そう。メ
リーポピンズって言わないとわかんない。
そうだよね。
面白い。
Right on.
Okay.
That was interesting.
The next one was Super Saiyan Sexy Style.
ああ、これね、笑っちゃったわ。
This was a nice one where I didn't even have to translate it because
確かにね。
Okay. And then we had Super Sexy Strawberry Sundae.
Super sexy strawberry Sundae. Dante.
ダンテだけやったらこれでいいかもね。
Right on. That would work for Dante, right? Maybe not for Dante.
That would definitely be more of a character-specific one. Then we've got Super Scintillating Slashing Swagger.
Swagger ね。スワガーは本当にね、かっこよく歩くという。
おお、なるほどね。いいかもね。
Trying to explain the concept of swagger in Japanese to the best of my ability, anyways.
割とみんな真面目に考えてくれてる人も多いよね。
Yeah, there are definitely some in here that they've definitely thought about it.
They certainly have. Okay. The next one is Surpassing Sparta's Supreme Style.
なるほど。かっこいいけどね。
ね、スパーダね。
スパーダ入れてる人何人かいたの？
そうですよね。
うん。
Cool. It's cool. Makes sense.
Cool. And then the next one is Shin smoking sexy style. So kind of like Shin as in super, I guess.
普通に日本語使ってるね。新スーパースモーキーセクシースタイル。意外とでもね、まあそうですよね。日本のゲームとして使ってもいいかもしれないですよね。新マージンもやってるんです。
新マージンのシーンはね、一応その罪っていう方のシーン使ってるけどね。
そうですよね。
うん、
そう、その通りですよね。やっぱりそうです。面白いな。
面白い。
You know what? I really like that takes. I mean, obviously that's Japanese. Shin, the shin from the Sin Majin really originally it's from in Japanese. Shin is it's like
I'm thinking Shinku Hadouken, like you know.
So
yeah,
that shin is that Shinku is vacuum, but this is like Shin Akuma. Like when we have Shin Akuma in the Street Fighter games, it's the true Akuma,
full power unleashed.
So,
yeah,
exactly. So for the Shin Majin, then in this case, you know, it comes down. Yeah, that's his true form.
Okay,
right? It's really it sounds too. And so yeah, I love that idea, the way that they put that in there.
Okay, cool. Next one is smoking sexy surfing style.
サーフィンね。
サーフィンが好きな人ですか。Right on. Somebody likes surfing, huh?
That feels a bit more like a Nero one, is it? Because he kind of like surfs on the missile.
That's true. That's true.
確かに。
Okay. And then the next one we've got is SSkills Sylvester Stallone.
Ah, いいじゃない。超かっこいいじゃんね。
なるほど。俺たちのおっさんとしてね。Maybe this is.
I mean, we think back to what is it, Onimusha 3? They got Jean Reno in that one, didn't they? Back in the day. There's no reason why you guys couldn't potentially collaborate with Sylvester Stallone down the line. I don't think.
Well, and so that's the thing, right? Like for us, we're like, yeah, Sylvester Stallone's awesome. Like, I do wonder if like a young kid at this point look at Sylvester Stallone, thinks he's as cool as we do, you know?
Wow. Yeah. I see what you're saying. He's maybe not as much. You wouldn't call him an influencer as such, I guess.
Probably not. Okay. He's rich though.
He's definitely rich. He could definitely bring some big budget. All right, and this is my personal favorite: Super Street Fighter 6.
Super Street Fighter 6.
Super Street Fighter 6.
サイター。
Yeah.
サイター。
Saiter. これ見なかったな。
It's like a cider, I guess.
Cider.
We're like you're a spotter.
Like watching?
I guess, yeah.
Like watching? なるほどね。そういうことですね。見るんですね。Right on. Okay.
And then the final one we've got is Super Sexy Sparta Spank.
Super Sexy Sparta Spank.
スパークって何？
So spank. Like we're talking about like spanking someone's ass or something, right? Going for.
Say again?
Or is there some other? What is the meaning of spank in this context, Matt?
It's basically like if you remember God Hand. Do you remember God Hand?
Okay.
That's like a Capcom fighting game, and I can't remember the guy, the main character in it, but one of his special moves is he places the opponent over his knee and spanks them on the bottom multiple times to cause significant damage. Significant damage. Jean, that was it. Jean.
Right on.
Okay.
I like that you keep going back to God Hand there.
I did. That's the second time I've done it.
Mikami-san would be very proud.
Okay, but that is all 10 submissions. So you have to pick now which one wins the second competition.
じゃあどれ選ぶかって。まあ俺割と新スモーキングセクシースタイルはいいなと思
う。いいんじゃない？
ね。そうですね。
いやこれがね。これ日本人の感覚で決めてないのよ毎回、
もちろんそうですね。当然そうですよね。海外の人は当然シンって言ったら全然見るから
ネイティブの人が見てかっこいいと思えることを毎回選んでるのね。でもそれでシンかっこいいってみんな感じるんだったら全然それでいいと。
ちなみにね、でもね、じゃあシンマジン、まあ日本語で、俺もねゲーム作って、まあ日本語でシンマジンにして、それでまあ最初ね、シンマジンにするか。英語でね、英語でシンマジにした経緯って どうだったんですか？
いや、僕、新 DT っていう話でしょ？新 DT ね。
はいはい。
それは、だから新って、本当罪っていう意味なんだけど。
そうですよね。そうです。
人間すべて罪をね、背負って生まれてくるって言うじゃない？だから、そのデビルトリガーも、要するに悪魔として現在をね、背負って生きてきたみたいな意味で、日本だと結構かっこよく使うのよ、罪っていう言葉をね。
おー、なるほどね。ほ
かっこいいのよ、罪っていう言葉がね。
なるほど。
だからそうかなと思ってしたんだけど。
Well, I mean, frankly, I think that the Shin super smoking sexy style makes a lot of sense, especially in the context of the game. And frankly, as they mentioned in the tweet, that it harkens exactly to the Sin Majin DT.
Okay.
And so I remember when we were making the game, making DMC5, and of course, we made the game in Japanese in terms of we talk about the gameplay concepts and stuff. We always talk about it in Japanese. But in terms of coming up with like a story and a lot of the lines and even this Sin Majin here, Itsuno-san worked with some people in the West who what he always wants to do, especially for these games, is not come at it from a Japanese perspective, but try to come at these things from a Western perspective so that it makes sense from the beginning. It's natural from the beginning for a Western person. And I always just kind of made the connection that, sin is just shin. The English sin is just the Japanese shin. And he says, well, no, I mean, what it kind of comes down to is, obviously we did have shin, but for the Sin Majin, sin, frankly, that word sin in Japanese, the concept, in Japanese we would say tsumi, okay? Tsumi,
Okay.
for sin. It's a concept that, it's kind of used, maybe it's used in like death metal and that kind of stuff, but there's this kind of like, there's like a cool connotation to it to an extent, and so that being the case, then, he was working with Western writers. That's what he came up with, this sin. And the idea that, it is a demon, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that you would include this concept of sin.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with the sin for smoke.
Oh, awesome. Well, if we could get back to the screen with all the answers on it, so I can say who the winner is. So the winner is Arashi Zero. So congratulations, your Japanese style intro to that. The Japanese style intro is what paid off. So well done. So we'll be posting the second signed copy. So this is signed by Matt Walker, Itsuno-san, and is it the battle director? I forget. What is it?
Kumabe-san,
Okay,
the lead planner, the lead game designer on DMC5 SE. Yeah.
So you get the full holy trinity there, like the best signatures to have from the Devil May Cry development team. So congratulations on that one. And we are moving on now to the final competition, which I believe the question was, if you could design a new boss for Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, what form would it take? So what form would it take? And the first entry is merge the two sons of Sparta into one being with 8 wings, 4 arms, with 2 head. Each one has 4 eyes, 2 arms, with each one holding the swords that was given by their father. The other 2 will use the secondary weapons from Dante. The feet will have Balrog. So this is very specific. What do you think of that idea?
Very specific. ダンテとバージルが合体して、それで頭2頭あってね。
羽8枚あってね。
そうですね。そういうのね。
大丈夫です。
ね、細かいんですね。
細かい。
ちゃんと細かいんですよ。
結構みんな真剣に書いてたんですね。
そうですね。
1個だけふざけてた。
あとこれだと戦えるのはネロしかいないんですよね。
いや本当ね。
ネロレディーとトリスですかね。ダンテと
勝てないでしょ。勝てない。
You think about it, if you have Dante and Vergil together, that means that the only people that can fight them, Nero, Lady, and Trish, right? And potentially Lucia, right? So I don't know if those guys can take down if it's Dante and Vergil together in one being, that might be too powerful.
You're saying it's like an apocalypse scenario right there. There's just like that's instant credits, game over, GG's.
I think so.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Maybe too powerful there. Maybe we start off with a very strong one there. But next submission is a Janus kind of demon, made of different faces, but each face represent a memory of the opponent. So Mundus, Eva, Sparta himself, the bullies, depending on who is fighting. And the creature lures its victims by using these people's voices like sirens with the sailors to eat them. So what do you think of that idea?
顔がいっぱいあるよ。
なんかあれだね、みんな集大成みたいなやつ好きだね。
ねえ。でもね、まあ、なんか昔のね、思い出にもついて顔を声で呼び寄せるテーマ。トリッシュはもともとそういうテーマで作ってるんじゃないかな。そうでもない。
トリッシュ？
トリッシュですね。要はトリッシュが、ダンテのお母さんに言ってるという設定は、
そうね。
あれは、まあ、もしかすると違うかもしれないですけど、なんか、あれはどっちかというと、なんか意図的に、まあ、っていうか、偶然なのか。
いやいや、あれはもう意図的だと思う。
でしょうね。そうです。
銀河鉄道999だ。
なるほどね。It was a cool concept, right? And the first thing I thought,
いいアイデアだ。
ね、
いろんな顔のやつね。
I personally, the first thing I thought about was when I saw it was, I feel like kind of Trish was kind of born from that concept, right? You know, the idea
that's
that
a good point.
Trish looks like Dante's mom. Right?
Yeah.
And that, you know, it makes a lot of sense that there's something, a similar kind of, you know, lulling Dante into a false sense of security.
That's definitely like a significant plot point of the first game for sure.
Right.
Okay, so moving on to the third entry, what we got next. Alright, an Itsuno boss that uses 5% of his real power, who also uninstalls the game and gives you a disappointed look when you lose.
まあ、いつのさんですね。いつのさんが登場して、負けたらいつのさんが不満な顔をして、銀を4本に座るっていうやつね。
はないわ。はないよ。そう人間が作ってる人が出てきたらね、もうゲームはね、しらけちゃうからね。
ああ、そうですね。You know, we've even had discussions like.
Oh, really?
Like,
oh, wow. Okay.
In terms, well, not in terms of making, but in terms of like, we try not to like put ourselves in the games like in a sense. We were making DMC5 SE things we're trying to come up with. Well, what's going to happen when you beat the credits game?
Okay.
When you beat the credits game, and so we all had some different ideas. We had a couple people on the dev team that were, it'd be really fun. I think the players would get a kick out of it if we had like some other dev team members or whatever. And we talked about that, and we kind of felt that like, it shouldn't be about us. It should be about the player enjoying the game.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, you can get some game directors like Hideo Kojima like puts himself into some of the Metal Gear games, for instance, and stuff like that. I honestly think if you guys put yourself into the game, maybe as like a bonus thing, like as a non-canon like a bonus feature, I honestly think the community will get a serious kick out of that. Like you just like it exploding out of some sort of like dimension portal and being like DMC is back at the end or something like that. I reckon people would definitely get a kick out of that. 100%.
Yeah, we've talked about like doing that kind of thing too. Like even if it's just like a sound or something. Yeah, that's kind of that's what we've settled on so far.
Okay.
Let's make it more about
Yeah, I understand what you're saying though. Yeah. This would just be like something like a small thing to add, maybe one day potentially. But next one is I think a boss that you don't fight directly but compete with would be fun. So like have a fight between two characters where you have to outstyle each other. First to triple S or the longest lasting triple S. Phases would be different weapons or enemies. A Nero v Dante. A Nero versus V. I'm getting this wrong. A Nero versus Dante. That's throwing me off. With banter would be sick. So like having Nero and Dante just like smack talking to each other in that that concept. I like that idea.
普通に直接に攻撃するボスじゃなくて競争する。
はいはい
例えばじゃ
は
あダンテとネロが競争して誰が一番マッサージポイントを
い。今日のやつみたいにね。
ね、そうですね、今日みたいなやつで、そうするとまあ要はじゃあネロとダンテがずっとお互いからかったりするっていうのは楽しいかもしれないな。
いや、これはねちょっと面白いなと思いました。
We both thought this was a really good idea. You know, I love first of all, yeah, the idea that it's different. It's not just a boss. It's it's a different kind of play.
Yeah, it's a whole concept.
And I did love, especially finishing it off with. So let's say it's like Nero versus Dante, in which case, yeah, they be kind of trash talking each other. It's happening.
Yeah, I like the fact that you wouldn't necessarily have to kill the opponent. It's just about outstyling them, which has always been at the core of DMC. So that I think that is a sick concept. So shout outs to
Really cool.
that submission. But moving on to the next one, which I think is number 5. We're easy. The coolest idea for a boss I can think of is a Dante, Nello, Angelo for Vergil to fight. A sort of what if the roles got switched boss. So how would he work, or would he just be the same? And if we do Dante, let's do Nero 2, because Nero Angelo is too good of a pun to pass up.
ね、ネロアンジェロね、あれこれもいいなと思う。両方とも確かにね。ネロアンジェロね。
ネロのネロアンジェロか、ダンテのネロアンジェロね。
ね、まあ日本語でネロアンジェロはどうしてもネロですね。
そう
英語だと
違うんだよね。
L か R かってね。よかったね。
いや、いいアイデア。
It's cool. This is a
かっ
good
こいいよね。
It's cool. It's really cool. And we both thought it was really.
Okay. I'm wondering if you secretly got your notebooks out on the side there, just jotting some of these down, just in case. You never know. but moving on to the next question, which I believe we are now number 6. Okay, so it would be a secret boss in a special epilogue mission to be unlocked under certain tasks. A nightmare that Vergil discarded that looks like Mundus. So visually something between his true form and god form, and around Cavalier Angelo's size, maybe. So what do you think of that one?
バージルとして戦うボス。
ね。まあ、キャバレー、まあ、7、8メートルぐらいの、ね。これは全部バージル主人公の話なの。
割と確かにね、そう。ダンテと戦ったりする。
まあでも、面白いと思う。エキストラ、シナリオだとすると、面白いかも。
ムンドスってね、まあ、デビル3で。
デビル3のエンディングでね。
バージがつける。
で、あれをね、しましょうと思って。
そうですよね。
別に悪くないと思う。
面白いなと思うんですよね。This was a cool one. And we're sitting here kind of thinking about, yeah, actually, come to think a lot of these probably plays Vergil against them. They kind of involved like, fighting against like a Dante or something. Yeah, this is a really cool idea.
Okay.
And you figure at the end of DMC3, Vergil is found by Mundus. Right?
Yes, of course.
And that whole thing started. So yeah, that seems like you could really feed some nice story and gameplay with that.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good solid choice. All right, I'm going on to the next one. So a fusion between Mundus and the Despair Embodied, which I believe is the end boss from Devil May Cry 2. It would be a satanic humanoid twice the height of Dante. It would have multiple arms with guns attached, and 2 greatswords. It would be metal AF with big fantastical spells and fast, powerful strikes. The music would be operatic. So what do you think of that one?
エンジスとアルゴサックスを見まして。
人間サイズにして、まあデビルシリーズ敵の詰め合わせ最強のやつね。
そうですね。
まあ、ありっちゃあり。
なんか昔のやつだとなんか出てきそう。
We're in fault on this one.
結局2の最後人間サイズでエンボディとか結局まあそれっぽくなっちゃう。気持ちわかる。
It's cool. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And in a sense, like Argo said, the despair embodied kind of that concept to an extent, right?
I like how it brings the lore from two of the main games are kind of like together a bit as well. That's an interesting choice for that one.
ね、日本剣持ってね、強そう。
Man, yeah, he's got 2 swords. It's gonna be she or it is gonna be one hell of a boss. Man.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's the one. If you have Vergil and Dante combined, then maybe combining Mundus and Agrasax together is how you come up with a boss that can tackle that. Yeah. So maybe that's the answer. We've got the two of the answers combined together. There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
映画版そんな感じね。なんかね。
Seems like something you'd
夏
see
休
like,
みにある
you could see that like a movie.
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that last bit.
You're just saying it seems like it's something that come up in a movie at some point.
Yeah.
That kind of scene.
Yeah, 100%. This. I think we're almost like going into kind of like fan fiction territory here in terms of like going off on a complete tangent. But I do like how creative these answers are. But moving on to the next one. So, this was very out there. A giant dice that the player has to smack in order to roll.
Like
Every time it lands, the game then summons one of the developers of the game to fight you, depending on which number is facing up. The developers laugh at you about how you thought you would never see dice in Devil May Cry again.
いいじゃない。みんなが怒らないんだったらそれやろうかじゃあ。
まあどっちかそうですね。どっちかっていうと怒らせたいからっていう。Great. Okay. You know what? As long as there you go. I guess we'd have to do that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
More dice.
More dice. Like, it's been a while now. I think people have generally forgotten about it. So it's a good time to bring it back. Yeah.
Right on.
I never see it brought up anymore. Almost never.
That's true.
Yeah. It's retro. It's considered retro now.
That's true.
Going off on a complete tangent here, but one of my favorite dice to appear in a video game was Gunstar Heroes. Gunstar Heroes. I remember that by Treasure. The dice maze, and you throw the dice, and then you go across the board. That was the best. That's the best dice in the video game, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Okay, so moving on to the last few questions now. This is number 9. Number 9. Nero as a boss. It's been my dream since Devil May Cry 4. Every other character has been a boss already. Make him use 8 Devil Breakers in a row, some as his super moves, and telegraph Snatch with either a sound effect or a voice line, like "Come here" before using it. So what's your thoughts on that one?
ネロか。デブル4でダンテとしてネロと戦ったのか。
そうなんだね。前回もそうだったんだけど、今回のスペシャルエディションもそうなんだけど、ボスネロを、ブラディパレス最後に作ってもよかったんだけど、ちょっと時間が足らなかったよね。
なるほどね。
時間が足らない。
いや、確かに。
エネミーネロ、大変なのよ。お金かかんのよ。
いや、そうですね。Well, Nero's an interesting one. Like Nero, the gameplay against Nero would be really cool, right? But we'd want to do it right.
Okay.
To be completely honest. So for DMC5 SE here, when we were talking about, okay, well, what are the stages to be? How many stages would it have in the scenario? Bosses would be. We had a lot of back and forth. And originally, one of our ideas was, well, wouldn't it be cool if you could fight against at the end? And we looked into it, but in the end, we didn't feel that we had enough time to make something kick ass. So we went with Dante starting out the fight as Shin Majin there.
みんな欲しいんだよね、やっぱりね。
And of course, everybody, Bloody Palace there, and that's another thing that to get him in Bloody Palace, or like I said, just yeah, we would want to have more time.
Okay. So it's one to have on the back burner for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're coming on to the final question now. The final question, and this one was short and sweet, but I thought it was a cool concept, so it's one of the ones I shortlisted. But a QB, a Ninetales. So with each tail somehow representing a circle of hell. So there's 9 circles of hell. And there's 9 tails on the oldest QBs. So I thought this was a cool fusion. So what do you think of this one?
あれキュービーってなんかあれ
なんていうのキツネの。
いや、そう、分かってんだけど。なんか出てきたっけ
俺はっきりわかんない。どこで出てるか。
狼とか出てないよね。
出てる。ああ、出てるかもしれない。
まあでもわかりますよ、キュービーは。
ね。
うんうんうん。
Matt, do you remember if there were any QBs like that in, say, old Kami?
I can't remember if there was a Ninetales.
I want to say there might have been a fight like that.
I remember the final
I mean,
boss being
obviously-
like a sphere with like a hand that came out of it. I can't remember what it was called, but
Oh yeah, that was cool.
it began with a Y or something, I think.
なんでみんなよく知ってるね
One to ask the
Yeah.
stream chat. Was there a Ninetales in Okami? Has anyone played Okami? And was there a Nine-tailed fox QB in Okami? I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. Oh, apparently yes. People are saying yes. End boss
it was,
of
but
the
it's-
second
so it's
chapter.
okay.
Mm.
Tianとちょっと違うか
ああ、そうだ
So
ね。
yes, you are correct.
オッケーオッ
ら。
ケー
Cool,
オッケー
that's cool.
はい。
Cool.
All right then.
Alright.
So 10 answers for that question.
じゃあ
What one are you going to pick as the winner?
これね、競争するやつと、
あーそうね
あれがたって、あと、Let's go, I'm trying to remember.
いや、いいんじゃない競争で。
Yeah. You know, I think from our point of view, the one here was the idea of fighting against the one that's not a boss fight, you know, the
Yes.
one that's a what's competition. And yeah, I just thought it was so the idea of not only doing that, but then that you can't have that back and forth.
Yeah. It's definitely. I think it's the
Between them as
most
they're doing it.
the most clean cut out of all the questions. I think that stands out just because it's so creative and just takes it in a new direction. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
one
that's
as well.
really cool.
Mhm.
I mean, you can do like a mode for that.
Okay.
That could be like the training mode or something, even, right?
Exactly.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, there's loads
Very
of different
cool
ways you
idea.
can run with that. So if
Yeah.
we can bring back the competition page a sec just so I can announce the winner. So that one was submitted by My Ginny Tingle. My Ginny Tingle. So congratulations to them. I will message you on Twitter and you have won the final signed copy of the game. Congratulations.
All right.
All right, but I believe that's the end of part 3 now. So that's the end of the stream, pretty much. How do you think that went? You enjoyed that? What was your
man,
favorite
that was a
part?
ton of fun.
What was your favorite part?
面白かった、面白かった。
そうでしょうね
うん
で、一番好きなところと、何でしたはい、今日ね。
今日の中で。いや、それは二人の
ね、競争ね。
競争
ね
戦闘
さらに結局ね、そんなにね、
そ
あんなに近いっ
う。いや
て
すげえ
ね。
だったらスコアも見たかったねっていう。
ね。
もしかしたらエキストラボーナスの方の差かもしれないしね。
ああ、確かに確かに。で、I mean, blast, right?
レッドスタイリッシュかな。
the
もしかしたら内部的なスタイリッシュボーナス仕込んでるやつがいくつかあって。
ですよね。そう。
それかもしれない。
Get the chance to have Cosmic go play against each other like that, and to see. I mean, first of all, the game was a ton of fun to watch, and frankly, both of them did a fantastic job commentating. It was so cool to hear their insights on all that stuff.
100%.
Frankly, they're more insightful than we were by a lot.
They would definitely destroy
but-
me at the game.
Not only that, but man, to have such a small difference in the final result there, it would have been a ton of fun to see the details on the point screens there.
Yeah.
To see if perhaps like if maybe it came down to like the bonuses, you know, the stuff like, you know, so even there's some silly point bonuses, right?
Yes.
But like it could have come down to that for that matter.
I mean, 100-point bonus would have like swung it the other way. So that's
Right?
so damn
Exactly.
close.
It's amazing.
Mm.
right? Yeah,
Down
that's
to
cool.
literally down to the wire. Literally down to a full-on wire snatch down to the wire. I like that.
That's great. That's great, man. You
Alright,
did
so-
a good job in planning it all, man.
Oh no, I mean, working with you guys, like, it makes me want to do it. Just because out of all the development, you know, R&D teams at Capcom Japan, I enjoy working with you and Itsuno-san the most. You're so easy to
I
work
think
with.
I think we definitely gotta give a shout out to Rich.
Oh, 100%.
And
We're bringing him on.
and the crew, because oh my god, like the last time we did this, we tried our best, but I feel like the quality could have been better, right? But man, like he just knocked it out. Him and his guys just knocked it out of the park.
Richard, come over
I
here.
feel like you guys have really gotten a wonderful setup on here for being able to do these, frankly, long distance streams. This was amazing, man.
Yeah, and the fact that we're literally doing it from Japan to Europe and the US as well. Here's the man in question, Richard Denton of Visual Platform.
Yeah.
A social distance fist bump, man. Thanks very much. They always bring the stream solutions. These guys always bring the stream
今日
solutions.
の MVP はね、マット・エドワーズさんで、
ね、そうですね。
面白い番組考えて
But
して
the
くれて
MVP of the
Yeah, 100%.
There you go.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
that concludes the stream. So one thing I just wanted to say at the end. So obviously you're still in Capcom Japan. You're still part of the R&D teams. I have no idea what you're working on next, but I hope that this dream team right here sticks together. I hope both of you. I hope we get you as director and producer on whatever happened next. Because like this is the dream team. Thank you very much for the awesome games that you both create.
今何作ってるかわかんないですけど、ぜひまた2人で、
はい
何かコラボしてほしいな
そうね
と思うんです。
出たいですね。
Cool, man.
Awesome.
All
Okay.
right, thanks a lot.
All right. So thanks everyone for tuning in for the SSkills Showdown. That's all we got time for. But enjoy the rest of your days, and hopefully we'll come back again in the future and do another Devil May Cry stream. But thank you very much, and take it easy, guys.